Chapter 141. Lu Ping looked at the other three. One was a handsome and elegant young man dressed like a young scholar. The other made Lu Ping frown. Lu Ping knew this person. It was the arrogant young man who came to ask Lu Ping for a Millennium Spirit Grass after Lu Ping returned from Failing Island. After not seeing him for a few years, this young man seemed to have matured a lot. Thinking about this young man's background in Jinling's alchemy pavilion, other than his own master, one of the remaining 4 enlightened masters must be an alchemy grandmaster of the sect. At this time, the arrogant young man obviously also recognized Lu Ping. His expression also changed. Then, as if remembering something, he looked at enlightened Master Lu Xinling, who was sitting in the center of the hall, gritted his teeth, and his expression returned to normal. The third person's age was similar to Lu Ping, maybe even a little younger, but his face and eyes were full of hardships. Obviously, he had experienced a lot. Lu Ping also felt a murderous aura from him. His whole body was like an unsheathed sword, cold and stern, making people not dare to approach him. Including Lu Ping himself, the cultivators outside the hall suddenly found that these 4 people had a common characteristic. They were all young. In terms of age, Lu Ping was probably the oldest. Everyone came to a realization. No wonder 2 late core forging enlightened masters came out to recruit disciples. Even enlightened Master Xian Jing and enlightened Master Xian Huai. One was an alchemy grandmaster of the alchemy pavilion, and the other was a vice hall enlightened master of the puppet hall. It turned out that these 4 people were here to recruit geniuses. The crowd was talking among themselves, obviously looking forward to what kind of gifts the 4 people could offer. The middle-aged scholar who had just finished resting shouted loudly, "Disciple of enlightened Master Xian Huai, Jizi Xuan, offers gifts." The cultivator who looked like a handsome young master smiled at Lu Ping and the others, then walked up to Reverend Xian Huai, bowed and said, "I heard that teacher has been collecting the puppet-making literature that was passed down from the time when Fei Ling's sect was destroyed. I was fortunate enough to trade for a puppet-making jade slip from a senior brother who had just returned from Failing Island. I have come to offer it to teacher." Spiritual Master Xian Huai was delighted to hear this and said, "Oh, let me see it." There was a hint of eagerness in his expression. Ji Zixuan respectfully handed over a grayish-black jade slip. Taoist Master Xian Huai took it and impatiently probed it with his divine sense. A moment later, Taoist Master Xian Huai stroked his beard and said with a smile, "Good, good. It is one of the puppet inheritance jade slips that the old man needs. With this jade slip, the old man can save 3 years of research and exploration." When the audience heard Master Taoist Xian Huai's laughter, they all praised in unison, "Good." They also applauded enthusiastically. Ji Zixuan bowed slightly and retreated to Taoist Master Xian Huai's side. The middle-aged scholar shouted again, "Taoist Master Xian Jing's disciple, Tao Zifeng, presents the gift of apprenticeship." Tao Zifeng, the arrogant teenager from back then, looked at Lu Ping provocatively, then walked up to Taoist Master Xian Jing with his head held high. After bowing to Taoist Master Xian Jing, he reached out to his waist and took out a milky white jade bottle. Lu Ping observed carefully from the side. There was no storage pouch on Tao Zifeng's waist, only a black jade belt. It was probably a storage belt. Tao Zifeng said, "Master, these are the 3 blood-condensing pills disciple has successfully refined a few days ago. The first and second batch produced 3 pills each, and the third batch produced 4 pills. This is an entire bottle of blood-condensing pills. At the same time, disciple has officially become an alchemist." This time, Taoist Master Xian Jing didn't need to say anything. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed in surprise. The difficulty of refining blood-condensing pills was comparable to that of a late blood condensation cultivator. Tao Zifeng was already an alchemist at such a young age. Obviously, he would be heavily nurtured by the sect. His future was limitless. Lu Ping, on the other hand, felt a little helpless. Tao Zifeng was the alchemy genius, yet he managed to refine 3 pills in his first batch. Lu Ping remembered that when he refined his first batch of blood-condensing pills, he had already described it as a miracle. This was because before this, no matter what kind of pill Lu Ping refined, he would always fail on his first batch. Taoist Master Xian Jing's face was also glowing. He smiled and said, "I still need to continue training." The success rate needs to be increased. Although he didn't say any obvious words of praise, anyone with a discerning eye could see from Taoist Master Xin Jing's expression that he was very satisfied. Tao Zifeng respectfully acknowledged, but he still had a proud expression on his face. He glanced in the direction of Lu Ping, the cold youth, and Ji Zixuan. Ji Zixuan was still smiling, but Lu Ping didn't seem to notice. Only the cold youth gave a slight humph. Just at this time, the middle-aged scholar's voice rang out again. Taoist Master Black Yin's disciple, Yin Zichu, presents the apprenticeship gift. Yin Zichu was the cold youth. He walked forward and bowed to Taoist Master Black Yin. Taoist Master Black Yin's eyes finally opened. He looked at Yin Zichu and said, "Is it done?" Yin Zichu nodded. He took out a storage bag from his bosom and threw it on the ground. Immediately, the smell of blood filled the air. The surrounding cultivators were in an uproar. Tao Zifeng frowned in disgust. Ji Zixuan only wrinkled his nose. He was also somewhat sensitive to the smell of blood, but his expression was still calm. Lu Ping, on the other hand, had an expression of indifference. There were a total of 3 demon beast corpses on the ground. Lu Ping could tell at a glance that these 3 demon beasts were killed by the flying sword in a short period of time. The way Lu Ping looked at the cold youth suddenly changed. There was a hint of admiration in his eyes. At this time, a cultivator who recognized the 3 demon beasts said, "Silver shark, flowery flower snake, and feather eagle." These 3 demon beasts were all in the late blood condensation realm. This silver shark was even at the 8th layer of the blood condensation realm. The feather eagle is also known for its fast speed. Another cultivator said, "This junior martial brother Yin Zichu's cultivation is only at the 6th layer of the blood condensation realm." A more knowledgeable cultivator added, "From the looks of it, each demon beast was killed within 10 moves." When did the gap between the late blood condensation and mid-blood condensation realm become so easy to bridge? Everyone was talking at once, but every time they said a sentence, the surrounding cultivators would cheer. When the cultivators clearly explained the information of the 3 demon beasts on the ground, the cultivators were already applauding and cheering. Lu Ping, on the other hand, was able to glean more accurate information from the battle. Yin Zichu didn't even use more than 7 moves to kill the 3 monster beasts, instead of 10 moves as everyone thought. Master Mysterious Yin still had a deadpan expression on his face. He only nodded and said, "Not bad." Yin Zichu moved to the side and kept the demon beast corpses. He stood beside Master Mysterious Yin, leaving only a pool of blood on the ground. The middle-aged scholar cleaned it up casually. At this time, only Lu Ping had not presented his gift yet. The crowd looked at Lu Ping and whispered to each other. At this time, everyone had already noticed that the first 3 disciples were competing with each other when presenting their gifts. Even the enlightened masters were interested. They wanted to know what was so special about this last disciple that made Lu Xinling, one of the 3 truths and 4 spirits of the Xinling sect, personally come out to accept him as his disciple. The middle-aged scholar coughed unnaturally. Obviously, he was affected by the atmosphere. When he saw his teacher, Master Mysterious Miao, looking at him, he quickly said, "Master Lu Xuanling's disciple, Lu Ping, presents his gift." Lu Ping, on the other hand, was no longer nervous. He walked forward, bowed, and took out a jade bottle. This disciple was lucky enough to obtain a pill recipe a few days ago. "I refined this bottle of miracle face retaining pill. I wish Master Eternal Youth." Silence. The crowd was confused. After a while, someone whispered to each other, "What is this miracle face retaining pill? Why haven't I heard of it?" "Never heard of it." As the name suggests, it should be related to maintaining one's appearance, right? Then it should be similar to the appearance stabilizing pill and beauty pill, right? The appearance stabilizing pill can maintain one's appearance for 10 years, while the beauty pill can only maintain one's appearance for 5 years. These 2 miracle face retaining pills are equivalent to the mid-blood condensation realm, while the other is equivalent to the early blood condensation realm. It's not bad compared to the miracle face retaining pill. After all, Master Lu Xinling is a female. However, no matter if it's the appearance stabilizing pill or the beauty pill, they will eventually lose their effectiveness if consumed too much. When that happens, one will not be able to maintain one's appearance and beauty anymore. The crowd still applauded and cheered, but it was not as enthusiastic as the previous 3 disciples. The crowd was still a little disappointed. After everyone applauded, Master Lu Xianling did not say any words of encouragement. Could it be that Master Lu was dissatisfied and felt embarrassed? Everyone looked at Lu Ping with pity in their eyes, only to find that Master Lu Xianling was happily playing with Lu Ping's jade crystal bottle in her hand. She even opened the bottle and sniffed the fragrance of the pill inside. The other 3 female enlightened masters were also looking at the jade crystal bottle in Master Lu's hand eagerly. Other than that, the other enlightened masters on the stage were also looking at Lu Ping strangely. Even Tao Zifeng was glaring at Lu Ping indignantly. Clearly, he knew something that the others did not. The crowd was stunned. Was there something wrong? He's using a jade crystal bottle. A cultivator finally made a new discovery. Could it be that he's concocting a core forging realm pill? Such a young alchemy master? It can't be, right? The crowd started discussing again, and the momentum was getting louder and louder. The middle-aged scholar was at a loss of what to do. Master Profound Miao saw that the crowd was getting out of control and coughed loudly. The crowd felt as if a clap of thunder had exploded in their ears, and they immediately shut their mouths. Master Profound Miao stood up and said slowly, "Youth-retaining pill. A pill that can preserve one's appearance for 30 years. It's made from a mixture of 1,000-year-old spiritual herbs and 500-year-old spiritual materials. It's a type of blood condensation realm pill and core forging realm pill. Cultivators who can concoct this type of pill are usually called alchemy masters." The crowd listened to Master Profound Miao's brief explanation, and after a long time, someone suddenly said, "A 5th-layer blood condensation realm alchemy master in his 20s. This bottle of pill could preserve one's appearance for 300 years. How long was the lifespan of a core forging realm enlightened master? 500 to 800 years. Tao Zifeng's facial muscles twitched. He's really an alchemy master. This guy must be targeting me on purpose. This is revenge. The crowd was still silent. There was no applause or cheering. They only looked at Lu Ping with admiration. From their gazes, Lu Ping could only read one word: monster. This was a blatant provocation of the authority of the core forging spiritual masters. However, Spiritual Master Lu did not say anything. Xianjing's sudden provocation was somewhat inexplicable. Thus, they all looked on coldly. At this moment, Taoist Master Xianjing was furious. He didn't expect that Lu Ping could speak fluently under the suppression of his spiritual sense. He didn't expect Lu Ping to say such contemptuous words to him. Taoist Master Xianjing wanted to slap Lu Ping to make an example out of him. However, Lu Ping was Spiritual Master Lu's disciple, so he couldn't deal with him as he pleased. Not to mention, Spiritual Master Lu was also present at this moment. Spiritual Master Xianjing's cold eyes made Taoist Master Xianjing's hair stand on end. Only now did he remember the power of the 3 truths and 4 spirits in Zhenling. Enlightened Master Xianjing was in a difficult position. He didn't expect things to turn out this way. Because Lu Ping was able to refute Enlightened Master Xianjing's words, the situation changed dramatically in an instant. He became the most shameless person in this apprenticeship ceremony. Taoist Master Xianjing put all his qi on Lu Ping. At this moment, even a late blood condensation realm cultivator would fall to the ground. However, Lu Ping still stood there with his back straight, even though Lu Ping's veins were bulging. At this moment, Spiritual Master Lu, who was behind Lu Ping, finally spoke. "Senior Brother Xianjing, thank you for disciplining this disrespectful disciple on behalf of little sister. Senior Brother, don't be angry and harm your health." Taoist Master Xian Sheng's eyes twitched. The corner of Reverend Xuanqing's eyes twitched as he sat at the side. He more or less understood this mistress of his. She was usually gentle and virtuous, and would not speak a single harsh word. If anyone offended her, she would only say a few words, and would never argue with them verbally. However, the methods she would use to exact vengeance would cause one's scalp to go numb. Back then, even an outstanding person like his master would have to show some respect to his mistress. When spiritual master Lu's words came, the qi that was suppressing Lu Ping instantly disappeared. Lu Ping turned to spiritual master Lu and said in a low voice, "I dare not lie to master. Disciples Agerasia pill formula was obtained from a cultivator from the overturned sea gang that I killed. As for Disciples pill concoction skills, I only need to refine some more pills to prove it." Lu Ping's voice was very low. The surrounding cultivators didn't know what Lu Ping said to spiritual master Lu, but the spiritual masters on the stage all heard it. When the spiritual masters heard that the Agerasia pill formula was obtained from the overturned sea gang, the spiritual masters surprisingly didn't question whether it was true or not. Even Taoist Master Xian Jing didn't question it. Taoist Master Xian Miao stood up and said to the crowd, "The apprenticeship ceremony is over. Everyone can leave now." Although the cultivators were unwilling, they didn't dare to disobey Taoist Master Xian Miao's orders. One by one, they returned to their own cave abodes. After everyone left, Taoist Master Xian Jing said to spiritual master Lu, "Even so, we can't be sure that he didn't obtain the pill formula from Wei Shiren. After all, the Agerasia pill is a quasi-master grade pill. How could it be obtained by a blood condensation realm cultivator from the overturned sea gang? I think we still need to strictly investigate this kid, including the cultivators who recommended him to be spiritual master Lu's disciple. This is to prevent people with ulterior motives from sneaking in. That way, everyone will be convinced, right?" Taoist Master Xian Jing's tone was already that of a negotiation. It was obvious that he wanted to find a way out of this embarrassing situation. Unexpectedly, as soon as Taoist Master Xian Jing finished speaking, a loud bang was heard. Taoist Master Xian Sheng slammed his chair and stood up angrily. He roared at Taoist Master Xian Jing, "Someone with ulterior motives? Ha! The person with ulterior motives who recommended this kid to be my mistress's disciple is our master. Martial Uncle Xian Jing, you want to investigate our master? Then why don't you investigate us first?" Taoist Master Xian Jing was so angry that he was trembling. His heart was filled with regret. He didn't expect that his words, which were originally meant to find a way out of this embarrassing situation, would once again involve a heavyweight figure like Xinling. Xinling's disciple immediately flew into a rage. Taoist Master Xian Shang was dressed like a commoner. His words also seemed to be pestering Taoist Master Xian Jing. "I respect you as martial uncle only because of our seniority. Don't think that I don't know your goal. You wanted to ask for a type of medicinal pill that my master gave to my master's wife, saying that it could be used to study and improve your alchemy skills. My master's wife gave you one, but you wanted two. After being rejected by my master's wife, your jealousy turned into hatred. Today, you want to make trouble for my master's wife through this junior brother. Am I right?" The Taoist masters present were abnormally astute. They immediately understood that this type of pill was not ordinary. For some reason, Lu Ping thought of the spirit-forging pill. Taoist Master Xian Jing said angrily, "This is utter nonsense." "Nonsense." Taoist Master Xian Sheng chuckled coldly and didn't argue with him. He continued, "Your pill concoction skills can only be ranked third in our sect. That kind of pill is not something you can refine. If you really want to study it, one is enough. Isn't it a waste for you to ask for two?" Taoist Master Xian Jing sneered. "My pill concoction skills are unfathomable. How can you understand them?" Taoist Master Xian Sheng nodded. "I don't understand, but I heard that Martial Uncle's cultivation has been stagnant at the 6th layer of core forging. You have an Earth-ranked Heaven and Earth Spirit object, but because you ate too many pills, your cultivation foundation isn't stable and you can't completely fuse with it. If you had another pill like that, advancing to the late stage of core forging would be a cinch." Taoist Master Xian Jing was about to open his mouth to refute when Taoist Master Lu Xinling suddenly said, "Xian Sheng, you are presumptuous. Senior brother Xian Jing is your martial uncle. Even if he did that, how can you stand up for him?" Taoist Master Lu Xinling reprimanded Taoist Master Xian Sheng on the surface, but it was equivalent to confirming that Taoist Master Xian Jing's request for the pill was rejected. Taoist Master Xian Jing was so angry that his whole body trembled. Taoist Master Xian Sheng immediately bowed and said, "Master's wife is right. Disciple was rude." After saying that, He sat down on his seat as if nothing had happened. The master and disciple echoed each other's words and cooperated well. The perfected masters all had strange expressions on their faces. Taoist Master Lu thought for a moment and said, "After this Lu Ping's trip to Feiling Island, I intended to accept him as my disciple. Your master's action is unnecessary." Obviously, Taoist Master Lu wanted to say that he didn't accept Lu Ping as his disciple because of Taoist Master Xiansheng. Taoist Master Xiansheng was like an obedient insect. After hearing this, he said, "Yes, disciple understands." At this moment, Taoist Master Black Yin suddenly stood up and glanced at Taoist Master Xinjing. He said, "Boring." After saying that, he only used his gaze to signal to Taoist Master Lu Xinling. He didn't greet anyone else and left with his newly accepted disciple, Yin Zichu, as if there was no one else around. Before they walked 30 feet away, the two of them suddenly disappeared. It was as if the two of them didn't exist at all. Lu Ping watched in amazement. Taoist Master Lu also stood up and said, "There are many trivial matters in Chonghua Manor. I'll take my leave first." After saying that, Lu Ping felt something lifting him up. It was the red silk that Taoist Master Lu used to come here. When Lu Ping looked down, he was already in the air. Taoist Master Lu Xinling was standing not far in front of him. Lu Ping only felt that the scenery on both sides of him was connected into a long green brocade. Before Lu Ping could realize what was drawn on the green brocade, he had already landed beside a small lake that was overflowing with the fragrance of flowers and the shade of green willows. As an alchemist, Lu Ping naturally recognized the flowers planted beside the small lake. The weeping willows were all spiritual herbs and materials. Only a late-stage core forging enlightened master like Taoist Master Lu Xinling would use spiritual herbs and materials to beautify the living environment. In the center of the small lake was a 90 feet high stone mountain. The entire stone mountain had been carved into a palace for people to live in using a great amount of magic power. Above the main entrance of the palace, there was a wooden plaque made from a 1,000-years-old weeping willow tree. On the plaque were 3 elegant characters: Chonghua Palace. Lu Ping followed Taoist Master Lu to the stone palace at the center of the lake. Lu Ping scanned the lake with his divine sense and discovered that there were many fishes and other creatures in the blood-refining realm. Lu Ping even vaguely discovered that there were blood condensation realm demonic beasts among them. Lu Ping followed Taoist Master Lu to the carved stone palace. Although the periphery of Chonghua Manor was decorated with flowers, the stone palace in the manor was simple. Everything was carved from stone. Lu Ping's heart was filled with questions, but it was not appropriate for him to ask them. At this moment, a young girl in palace attire was hurrying out of the palace. Lu Ping recognized this girl as the one he met a few days ago in the side hall. The young girl was obviously anxious. When she got closer, she raised her head and saw Taoist Master Lu Xinling returning. Then, she saw Lu Ping following behind him. The anxiety on her face immediately eased. She then thought of something and turned to walk towards the back of the palace. "Girl, where are you going?" Taoist Master Lu called out to the young girl. Chapter 143. The young girl turned her head and guiltily glanced at Lu Ping. Then, she bounced over to Spiritual Master Lu and hugged his arm. She said in a sweet voice, "Mom, you're back. I was just about to look for you at the Heaven Spirit Hall, but I realized that I forgot to bring my flying magic tool. I was just about to go back and get it." Lu Ping curled his lips at the side. This level of lying was too bad. Spiritual Master Lu looked at the young girl with a smile that was not a smile. The young girl knew that it was difficult to lie. She stuck out her tongue, lowered her head, and fiddled with her belt. She said, "Aya, a few days ago, I listened to Mom's words and went to inform this junior brother about accepting a disciple. Who would have thought that I would only chat with this junior brother and forget to tell him Mom's name? I only remembered this matter today and was just about to rush to the Heaven Spirit Hall to remind this junior brother. Unexpectedly, Mom had already brought him back." Lu Ping helplessly shook his head as he recalled the scene at the time. It was fortunate that he had guessed correctly. If he had guessed incorrectly, he wouldn't even know how to end the situation. Now that he thought about it, he felt a lingering fear. Lu Ping could see that the young girl still had the temperament of a child. Moreover, she was his teacher's daughter, so he naturally wouldn't pursue this matter. Spiritual Master Lu gave Lu Ping a look of praise and turned his head to the young girl and said, "Crazy girl, how is it chatting? I'm afraid you fought with your senior brother, right? I knew that you weren't reliable, yet you still took on this errand. Fortunately, your senior brother was alert. If something had gone wrong, wouldn't I have lost face as a mother? No one knew a daughter better than a mother." Lu Ping sighed. When the young girl heard Spiritual Master Lu's words, her face was immediately filled with displeasure. She said, "You clearly entered the sect later than me, and your cultivation is also lower than mine. Why is he my senior brother? It's fine if it was senior sister long before, but this time, I won't be junior sister no matter what." Enlightened Master Lu glanced at her, and the young girl immediately became obedient. Although she was unwilling, her tone of voice changed from one of righteousness to one of complaint, and then from complaint to a low murmur. When it came to the words "little junior martial sister," even if Lu Ping tried his best to hear them, he couldn't hear them clearly. Lu Ping finally realized that this kind, dignified, and elegant teacher was actually an extremely powerful figure. His aura was so strong that the spoiled young girl was like a mouse that had seen a cat. Lu Ping didn't know where the girl's innocence came from. But then, he remembered the young girl's father who recommended him to Enlightened Master Lu, Enlightened Master Xian Sheng's master. Perhaps the reason was because of him. Spiritual Master Lu saw that his daughter was obedient and didn't say anything, so he ordered, "Spiritual Master Lu, go and Spiritual Master Ninth Sister." Master Lu was. The young girl was like a cat that had been wronged. She lowered her head and said, "Oh." She walked out of Chonghua Manor with small steps. Then, like a bird that had flown out of its cage, she cheered and flew towards the sky, fluttering like a fairy. Spiritual Master Lu asked Lu Ping about the situation of his cultivation. Lu Ping answered them one by one, and took the opportunity to ask for advice on the difficulties in his cultivation. Spiritual Master Lu casually answered them, and with a few words, Lu Ping felt like he was suddenly enlightened. The benefits of having a teacher were immediately apparent. Regarding the matter of taking in disciples, Lu Ping didn't ask, and Spiritual Master Lu didn't explain. The two of them seemed to have a tacit understanding and only talked about some cultivation matters. After a while, he heard a delicate cry outside the manor. "I'm back. The other sisters will be here soon." If it wasn't a young girl, who else could it be? He really didn't see her, but he heard her voice first. Lu Ping turned his head and saw that other than the young girl, there was another person who followed in. It was Long Qian. When Lu Ping and Long Qian saw each other, they were both stunned. Lu Ping immediately felt relieved. With Long Qian's aptitude, it was only right for her to be a disciple of Spiritual Master Lu. On the contrary, a trace of curiosity flashed through Long Qian's cold eyes. Long Qian went forward to greet Spiritual Master Lu and stood in front of Lu Ping. The young girl stood behind Lu Ping in a well-behaved manner. She pouted her cherry lips and looked at Lu Ping as if she was angry. After a while, 4 female cultivators in palace robes entered Chonghua Manor. After greeting Spiritual Master Lu, they stood below him in order. When the female cultivators saw Lu Ping, they were also quite surprised, but they still greeted him with a smile. Lu Ping didn't dare to be negligent and called each of them senior sister. When Spiritual Master Lu saw that everyone had arrived, he pointed at Lu Ping and said, "This is my new direct disciple today, Lu Ping." After saying that, he gestured to Lu Ping and said, "Come up and greet the senior and junior sisters." Lu Ping saw that Spiritual Master Lu's aura was astonishing. After all the disciples came in, they all had a dignified and courteous appearance. He didn't dare to be negligent and once again stepped forward to greet them one by one. Spiritual Master Lu pointed at a young woman who looked to be around 30 years old and said, "This is your second senior sister, Li Xuanru." Lu Ping didn't have time to think about why it wasn't the eldest senior sister, but it was obvious that the senior sister in front of him was a core forging master. He hurriedly stepped forward and bowed. "Little brother Lu Ping greets senior sister." Li Xuanru smiled and said, "Ninth junior brother has a good cultivation. No wonder you can enter master's eyes. From now on, You must work hard to cultivate and not let Master's nurturing of you be in vain. Lu Ping hurriedly nodded, but he saw spiritual master Li Xuanru take out a piece of cold jade and hand it to Lu Ping. She said, "This is a 1,000-year-old cold jade that I obtained when I went out to travel in the past. Today, I will give it to you as a greeting gift to congratulate Junior Brother for entering Master's tutelage. I hope Junior Brother doesn't dislike it." Lu Ping saw that the quality of this 1,000-year-old cold jade was pure, and there seemed to be a trace of mist on its surface. This was clearly a top-grade spiritual material used to refine a top-grade water attribute magic tool. Lu Ping was at a loss and looked at Spiritual Master Lu, who was sitting at the head of the table. Spiritual Master Lu smiled and said, "Since it's a gift from your second senior sister, just accept it. You and your brother don't need to be so polite." Lu Ping hurriedly expressed his thanks. Then, the tall third senior sister, Zhao Xuanji, gave him a talisman that sealed a heavenly water curtain spell. It could be used to save his life at a critical moment. Fourth senior sister, Wang Xianjing, didn't look very old. She had a plump figure and looked like a good wife and mother. She gave a pair of green jade hairpins to Lu Ping as a greeting gift. She smiled and said, "I don't have anything good here. Junior Brother, if you have a girl you like in the future, you can give this pair of green jade hairpins to her as a greeting gift." Lu Ping didn't expect that his fourth senior sister, who looked the most virtuous on the surface, would make such a joke. He immediately blushed and the other women giggled. Even Spiritual Master Lu laughed and scolded, "You old fourth, don't have any proper manners." Lu Ping was about to greet the next senior sister when Wang Xianjing took out a jade slip and said, "Your sixth senior sister, Dong Ziyu, is in seclusion to break through to the core forging stage. She doesn't have time to come out and see you. She heard that you are proficient in swordsmanship, so she asked me to give you a jade slip she obtained from a senior cultivator's cave. This jade slip recorded a set of water attribute sword technique. Legend has it that it was passed down from Fei Ling sect. I hope it will be of help to you." When Lu Ping heard that it was a relic of Fei Ling sect, he immediately became interested. However, the occasion wasn't right. He took the jade slip, thanked his sixth senior sister, and moved on to the next senior sister. Seventh senior sister was an 8th layer blood condensation cultivator. She was about the same age as Lu Ping. When she saw Lu Ping greet her, she smiled and said, "Senior sister, I don't have as much wealth as you all, but I do have a little toy with me. I'll give it to ninth junior brother." Lu Ping took the jade slip and looked at it. It was a palm-sized puppet monkey. Seventh senior sister introduced it to him. This puppet monkey is around the late blood refining realm according to the spirit stones. It's usually very clever. Junior brother, you can put it in the cave to serve tea and tidy up the place. It'll save you a lot of time. So this is a puppet? Lu Ping thought to himself. During the apprenticeship ceremony, he saw Ji Zixuan become the disciple of enlightened Master Xian Huai, who was an expert in puppetry. After thanking seventh senior sister, Lu Ping put the puppet monkey into his storage ring and looked at his eighth senior sister, Long Qian. The relationship between the two of them was quite complicated. Lu Ping became famous in the Jinling side hall when he defeated Long Qian, who was a 9th layer blood refining realm cultivator, and broke through to the 8th layer blood refining realm during the battle. After that, Lu Ping, Yao Yong, Du Feng, Shi Lingling, Zhong Jin, Hu Lili, and the others formed a small circle. Because Long Qian was close to Shi Lingling, Hu Lili, Ma Yu, and the others, she was also in the circle. However, Lu Ping rarely interacted with her, and the two of them felt awkward whenever they met. Yao Yong and the others knew about the relationship between the two of them, so they didn't expose it. Lu Ping walked up to Long Qian and greeted, "Hello, 8th senior sister." Long Qian had always been cold. When she saw that Lu Ping had become her junior brother, she felt a little uncomfortable and didn't know how to interact with him. Seeing that he was greeting her, she could only play along and said, "Hello, junior brother Lu." After that, she gave a gift to Lu Ping, a box of 500 years old spirit herbs. Long Qian had some understanding of Lu Ping. She knew that he was learning alchemy, so she prepared these spirit herbs. When Lu Ping saw that most of the spirit herbs were used to concoct mid and late blood condensation pills, he knew that Long Qian had put in a lot of effort. He thanked sincerely, "Thank you, Senior Sister Long, enlightened Master Lu, and the others were smart people. When they saw the awkwardness between the two, they knew that they knew each other for a long time. Something must have happened between them, but they didn't want to expose it. Only the young girl at the end of the line giggled and said, "So you know 8th Senior Sister?" The young girl jumped forward. Without waiting for Lu Ping to answer, she stretched her hand in front of him and said, "It's finally my turn. My name is Jiang Zixian. I originally wanted to be the 9th Senior Sister, but Mother let you be in front of me." As she spoke, she looked at spiritual Master Lu with hidden bitterness and said, "But this way, I can ask for a greeting gift from you again, 9th Senior Brother." After saying that, she tilted her head and thought for a while. "If I'm not satisfied, I won't call you Senior Brother." After saying that, she turned around and glanced at enlightened Master Lu. When she saw enlightened Master Lu looking at her with a smile on his face, she became more and more confident. The other senior sisters were also waiting to see how Lu Ping, their 9th junior brother, was going to get past their junior sister. Lu Ping thought to himself, "Luckily I'm prepared." Hence, he took out a jade bottle from his interspatial ring. Before he could say anything, his junior martial sister, Jiang Zixuan, pointed at the interspatial ring on Lu Ping's left ring finger and exclaimed in surprise, "Aya, you actually have an interspatial mystic instrument? That's a high-grade spatial mystic instrument. It's very rare." Chapter 144. Although Lu Ping usually wore his storage ring on his hand, in order to not attract attention, he used a spell to hide it. This time, he was in his teacher's cave residence, so he naturally didn't have to worry too much about it. Besides, it was extremely impolite to do so, so he didn't use a spell to hide it. High-grade spatial magic tools, especially small decorative magic tools like the storage ring, were the most precious. Generally, even core forging Taoist masters rarely had one. In Chonghua Mansion, only Taoist Master Lu and 2nd Senior Sister Li Xuanru had two. The other two core forging stage senior sisters only used storage belts and small universe sleeves. The other senior sisters still used exquisite storage pouches. When Lu Ping saw that all the senior sisters were looking at the storage ring on his hand, he was quite surprised. Lu Ping touched his nose in embarrassment and said, "I got it by luck on Failing Island. It's not worth mentioning." Jiang Zixuan didn't give up. High-grade spatial magic tool and a storage ring. It's not worth mentioning? After she finished speaking, her exquisite face had an expression that said, "Are you kidding me?" Lu Ping didn't know how to answer, so he could only look at his teacher, Taoist Master Lu, with a pleading gaze. Taoist Master Lu saw that Lu Ping was embarrassed, but he still had a smile on his face. No matter how he looked at it, Lu Ping could see a trace of gloating hidden in his expression. Taoist Master Lu finally spoke, "Girl, don't mess around. Don't you want to see your 9th senior brother's gift?" Jiang Zixuan finally remembered her previous request and looked at the jade bottle in Lu Ping's hand. When Lu Ping saw that his junior sister finally remembered her greeting gift, he handed the jade bottle to Jiang Zixuan, who was already impatient, and said, "This is the fragrant pill I refined. There are 10 pills with different fragrances inside. Junior sister, you can choose one of the fragrant pills according to your preferences. After taking it, your whole body will emit this fragrance for 3 years." Jiang Zixuan was still a child, so when she saw these strange pills, her interest was naturally piqued. She quickly pestered Lu Ping to ask him what the 10 pills smelled like, and Lu Ping answered them one by one. Seeing that his junior martial sister was finally satisfied, Lu Ping took out another 5 bottles of myriad fragrance pellets and said, "I've concocted quite a lot this time, and I'm planning to give them to the senior martial sisters. However, I don't know what kind of fragrance you all like, so I can only choose one of each. If senior martial sisters have any requests in the future, just come to me." The 5 senior sisters were quite happy to receive Lu Ping's gifts. Everyone loved beauty, and cultivators were no exception. Although it was easy for the girls to carry the fragrance on their bodies as cultivators, it was a waste of time to use the incense too frequently. Moreover, there were many inconveniences. Using magic power to transform the incense, although the amount of magic power wasted was negligible, it was a long-term process to maintain the fragrance on their bodies. The magic power that came out of their bodies would accumulate over a long period of time, and for the cultivators who were gathering magic power for cultivation, it was not a small burden. The fragrant pill, on the other hand, was a process that came from the inside out. It was not like incense, where the fragrance was attached to clothes. Although it was not worth mentioning, it was really pleasing to the women. Fourth senior sister Wang Xianjing said curiously, I didn't expect ninth junior brother to know how to refine pills. Junior brother, have you already become a pill refiner? Lu Ping nodded. It's not difficult to refine the blood-condensing pill now. Zhao Xuanji, the third senior sister, suddenly thought of something and said, when I came here, I heard from the disciples that there was a disciple who used the retaining youth pill as a gift in this apprenticeship ceremony. Could it be that you refined it? Although Zhao Xuanji was asking about Lu Ping, her eyes were looking at Lu Xianling. Lu Zhenren smiled. Third brother, don't play tricks on me. This time, I received a bottle of ninth brother's Agerasia pill. It can keep my appearance unchanged for 300 years. It was made by ninth brother. Jiang Zixuan was originally thinking about which flower to choose for the fragrant pill. When she heard that Lu Zhenren had the Agerasia pill, her eyes lit up and she immediately forgot about the fragrant pill in her hand. She skipped to Lu Zhenren and said, Mother, the Agerasia pill. Let me see it. Just when Lu Zhenren admitted that Lu Ping was the one who refined the Agerasia pill, Lu Ping suddenly felt that he was being stared at by several drooling eyes. Even Long Qian, who was next to him, had an expression of disbelief and eagerness. Lu Ping was sweating in his heart. He knew that if he didn't take a stand, he would definitely not be able to get away with it today. The female cultivators in the Chonghua mansion were definitely not good people. As long as Lu Zhenren, as his master, was strong in front of the Zhenrens in Zhenling, he knew what these senior sisters would do. Lu Zhenren, who was sitting in his seat, seemed to have really forgotten that there was a male disciple like Lu Ping. He only cared about letting his daughter admire the Agerasia pill in her hand. Lu Ping quickly recorded the dozens of spirit herbs needed to refine the Agerasia pill in the jade slip and said, Senior sisters, these are the names of the nearly 30 spirit herbs needed to refine the Agerasia pill. Senior sisters can slowly collect them. If they are all collected, junior brother will open the furnace and refine it for senior sisters. It's just that junior brother's alchemy skills are not good enough. The success rate of the Agerasia pill is barely 30%. I'm afraid that a lot will be wasted. At this time, the second senior sister spoke. Junior brother Ju is really generous. Since little Ju is so loyal, we as senior sisters are too polite. From now on, we are a family, and we should love and help each other. The senior sisters giggled nonstop. Lu Ping didn't expect that the second senior sister, Li Xuanru, who gave him the most impression of being the most prudent, would actually say such words. He was suddenly speechless. At this time, Lu Zhenren finally satisfied his daughter's curiosity. Without waiting for Jiang Zixuan to pester Lu Ping to refine the Agerasia pill, he said, Well, you have seen Old Ju's ability. Alchemy can be done. Seeing that we are from the same sect, Old Ju is naturally easy to talk to. However, alchemy is a waste of time. Everyone, don't let this quasi-master delay his cultivation because of alchemy. Seeing that Lu Zhenren was serious, the girls also respectfully said, Yes. Enlightened Master Lu then turned to Lu Ping and said, Old Ju, you gave me the face-halting pellet, which helped me gain face in the grand ceremony. Your senior martial sisters also gave you a greeting gift, so naturally, I also prepared a small gift for you. Lu Zhenren opened his hand. On it was a clear bead that contained a warm cloud chi. Lu Ping's eyes lit up. It was the spirit-gathering pearl that Lu Ping had once obtained. Lu Zhenren looked at Lu Ping and said with a smile, It seems that you recognize this item. This spirit-gathering pearl is placed in the earth vein, and after 2 or 3 years, it can produce a miniature spirit vein. I know that your cave residence is not built in Tianling Mountain, so I gave you this bead with the intention of telling you to cultivate diligently. After Lu Ping thanked Lu Zhenren continued, Since there is a direct disciple under my tutelage, I will open a forum and give a lecture in 7 days. Second girl, you will be in charge of this matter. At that time, the unnamed disciples and other disciples of the sect can all listen. Second senior sister Li Xuanru nodded respectfully. Lu Zhenren then ordered everyone to leave. At the same time, he told Li Xuanru to arrange for Lu Ping to stay in Chonghua Manor for the time being. Lu Ping knew that Lu Zhenren's lecture this time was actually targeted at him. After Li Xuanru made the necessary arrangements, Lu Ping suddenly remembered the sea wave listening technique, one of the two major techniques that made up the North Sea wave listening technique. When Lu Ping first entered the blood condensation realm, he only received the technique for the entire blood condensation realm. Now that he had become Lu Zhenren's direct disciple, he had surpassed the elite disciples of the sect and became a direct disciple. Naturally, he was qualified to receive the full set of the sea wave listening technique. Lu Ping told Li Xuanru about this matter. Li Xuanru giggled and said, "Junior brother, you still don't know, right? Master's branch mostly cultivates water attribute techniques. Therefore, the sect has many water attribute techniques here. There is no need to go to the Heaven's Spirit Hall to find techniques." Having said that, she directly handed a jade slip to Lu Ping and said, "The sea wave listening technique was one of the true techniques of Fei Ling's sect in the past. However, after Fei Ling's sect was destroyed, the sect's techniques were not complete. Although I don't cultivate this technique, I often study it and compare it with my own techniques. It's not just me. Many cultivators in the sect who cultivate water attribute techniques, in addition to their own techniques, also have to compare their techniques with other techniques. This way, they can learn from each other's strengths and make up for their weaknesses." Lu Ping knew that Li Xuanru was using this opportunity to give him pointers. After receiving the jade slip, he quickly thanked her. After settling down in Chonghua Manor, Lu Ping saw that Li Xuanru still hadn't left. He asked, "Second senior sister, in the hall today, other than sixth senior sister, why didn't I hear Master mention eldest senior sister and fifth senior sister?" Li Xuanru's expression changed. She sighed and said, "Both of them have fallen." Hearing this, Lu Ping knew that he had asked the wrong question. Just when he didn't know what to say, Li Xuanru continued, "This matter has to be told to you sooner or later. Eldest senior sister, Wu Zimin, was the first disciple that Master had accepted when she had just entered the core forging realm. Naturally, Master had high hopes for eldest senior sister. Unfortunately, eldest senior sister's talent was limited. The core forging realm was an extremely difficult barrier to break through. Although under Master's supervision, eldest senior sister cultivated very diligently, in the end, she didn't break through to the core forging realm before her lifespan ran out. She died more than 100 years ago. Only your third senior sister, fourth senior sister, and I have seen her." Lu Ping was shocked. Master's cultivation is extremely high. Even she can't help eldest senior sister advance to the core forging realm? Li Xuanru looked at Lu Ping and said solemnly, "Master naturally has a way to help her break through to the core forging realm. However, if she relied on external forces, even if she formed a gold core, she would only be the weakest existence among the core forging enlightened masters. Moreover, it would be difficult for her to take a step forward in her life." Eldest senior sister's talent was mediocre, but she was extremely arrogant. She wholeheartedly wanted to rely on her own efforts to break through to the core forging realm. Therefore, she would rather use up her lifespan than use this method. After hearing this, Lu Ping's mind was in a mess. He didn't know what to think. Master Li Xuanru looked at him and continued, "Fifth junior sister's death is a regrettable matter for our Chonghua sect. It happened 30 years ago. In order to find an opportunity to break through to the core forging realm, fifth junior sister went out to travel with a few friends. It is said that they found an ancient ruin in the buffer sea near Autumn Cloud Island. However, they later disappeared in that area. The Jade Tablet of Peace in Chonghua sect was broken. After Master found out that fifth junior sister had died, he went to investigate, but in the end, he found nothing." Hearing Li Xuanru mention Autumn Cloud Island, Lu Ping was startled. He couldn't help but say, "Autumn Cloud Island?" Chapter 145. Li Xuanru saw Lu Ping's surprise as if he knew something. So she asked, "What is it, junior brother? Did you notice something wrong?" Lu Ping nodded. "When I returned from the Demon Sea, I lost my way and arrived at Autumn Cloud Island first. However, I accidentally discovered that the Chiu family, which occupies Autumn Cloud Island, and the leader of the overturned seas faction were secretly in contact. Li Xuanru's expression froze when she heard this. The overturned seas faction? This is new. Junior brother, does anyone else know about this? Lu Ping saw Li Xuanru's serious expression and knew that things were not as simple as they seemed. He said, I told Lu Ziyuan, the immortal who led the team when I was in the side courtyard. Li Xuanru suddenly said, oh, it's him, the 18 generals of the North Sea. Guo Xuanshan's disciple is indeed extraordinary. There's no harm in telling him. He should know the severity of this. However, I must report this to Master. Junior brother, stay here and cultivate in peace. Wait for Master's lecture in 7 days. It will be of great benefit to you. With that, she left without waiting for Lu Ping's response. Lu Ping wanted to ask what the 18 generals of the North Sea were, but Li Zhenren was already gone. In the past 7 days, Lu Ping focused all his attention on the Sea Wave Listening Scripture's follow-up cultivation method. He combined the Sea Wave Listening Scripture with the Flying Spirit Sea Dance Scripture, and as expected, the North Sea Wave Listening Scripture was able to reach the mid-avatar stage. However, Lu Ping's current cultivation base and knowledge were too shallow, so he could only barely combine the two cultivation methods. As for the contents of the Sea Wave Listening Scripture, Lu Ping would have to wait until his cultivation base reached the core forging stage before he could continue to perfect it. 7 days later, Lu Xinling of the Chenghua House began his lecture. The disciples all rushed to the island to listen. Lu Ping arrived at the front hall of the Chenghua House early in the morning, but found that there were already more than 30 registered disciples waiting outside the hall. They were arranged according to their age, quietly waiting for Lu Zhenren to begin. According to the rules set by enlightened Master Lu of the Chenghua Mansion, the disciples were not arranged according to who entered the sect, but according to their age. Therefore, Lu Ping was ranked before Jiang Zixuan and became the 9th direct disciple. Seeing Lu Ping's arrival, many disciples looked at him with envy. Lu Ping noticed that more than half of them were in the late blood condensation realm. There were even 2 unnamed disciples who had reached the core forging realm. This made Lu Ping secretly amazed at the strength of Chenghua sect. Lu Ping looked at the lake in the center of the island and discovered that there were already hundreds of demonic beasts swimming in the lake facing the manor of great light. Among them, there were even 20 to 30 that had powerful demonic qi. Clearly, they had reached the blood condensation realm. On the shore of the lake, there were also hundreds of Jinling cultivators meditating. These were the inner disciples who opened their cave abodes on Tianling Mountain. Most of them had not reached the mid-blood condensation realm yet, so they were not qualified to be apprenticed to a master. This time, they also came to listen to the lecture, hoping that it would be of help to their cultivation. This was one of the reasons why most of the inner disciples were willing to open their immortals' caves on Tianling Mountain. Apart from the large spirit vein on Tianling Mountain, they could often have the opportunity to listen to a core forging enlightened master's lecture. The second direct disciple to arrive was Long Qian. Lu Ping nodded at her. After that, all the senior sisters arrived, leaving only the 1st, 5th, 6th, and 14th praying mats in the hall. When it was time for the lecture, enlightened Master Lu, accompanied by his daughter, Jiang Zixuan, came to the main hall. Enlightened Master Lu sat in the center while Jiang Zixuan sat on the 10th praying mat behind Lu Ping. Enlightened Master Lu tapped the jade chime lightly. Dang! The 200 cultivators in the hall, outside the hall, and on the shore of the lake, immediately quieted down. Enlightened Master Lu started with the Lin High Wave listening technique. This also meant that this lecture was actually for Lu Ping. The fact that the cultivators were able to listen to the lecture was also thanks to Lu Ping. The cultivators would naturally remember this favor in the future. Rather than saying that enlightened Master Lu was giving a lecture, it was better to call it a practice. This was because there were many things in cultivation that could only be understood and not taught in words. Enlightened Master Lu could only demonstrate it through spells and images. As for how much one could comprehend, it depended on one's comprehension. When she was giving a lecture, a water person suddenly appeared in midair in the hall. This water person was vivid and lifelike. The blood vessels, bones, flesh, and organs inside were all transparent and visible. It was many times more brilliant than Lu Ping's art of deceiving the heavens and crossing the sea. Enlightened Master Lu started with the most basic lecture and advanced step by step. His words were plain and smooth, but it did not lose its brilliance. At the same time, with the water person in the hall as a demonstration, Lu Ping quickly became engrossed. Lu Ping originally treated this lecture as a reference for his cultivation. After all, the cultivation method that he cultivated was not the Lin-Hai wave listening technique. However, after Enlightened Master Lu started speaking, Lu Ping realized that he was gravely mistaken. The Lin-Hai wave listening technique originated from the North Sea wave listening technique. Enlightened Master Lu's late core forging stage cultivation and several hundred years of experience and vision were not something that Lu Ping could surmise. It was only the first day of the Dharma assembly, but Enlightened Master Lu had raised many opinions that Lu Ping had never heard of. Many of the problems that Lu Ping had accumulated during his daily cultivation were easily solved. Lu Ping's daily cultivation mistakes were also discovered and corrected in time. Lu Ping suddenly felt as if he had been reborn. He also had a faint regret in his heart that he did not set up an abode on Tianling Mountain. That way, he could go and listen to the other Enlightened Master's lectures. Afterward, Enlightened Master Lu explained in detail the 8 methods of listening to waves, which Lu Ping remembered firmly in his mind, not daring to forget a single word. This was of great help to him in integrating and organizing the North Sea listening to waves. Enlightened Master Lu also compared the water attribute cultivation methods related to the North Sea listening to waves. These cultivation methods were not limited to the water attribute cultivation methods Zhenling had collected. Instead, they used Enlightened Master Lu's hundreds of years of experience as a reference, allowing Lu Ping to broaden his horizons. At the later stage of the Dharma assembly, Enlightened Master Lu even quoted from other sources. Whether it was the cultivation world or the mortal world, whether it was the North Sea, the East Sea, the South Sea, or even the Middle Continent, the North Ice Plains, the South Mountains, and the West Desert, which Lu Ping had never heard of, Enlightened Master Lu was involved in all of them. This made all the cultivators, including Lu Ping, feel respect for Enlightened Master Lu's extensive knowledge. At the same time, it also made Lu Ping yearn for the world outside the North Sea. The Dharma assembly went on for 9 days. In between Taoist Lu's speech, the cultivators would casually discuss and exchange their cultivation experiences. Lu Ping also took the opportunity to ask his 3 senior sisters in the core forging stage for guidance. On the last day of the Dharma assembly, Taoist Lu even allowed his disciples to ask any questions. Taoist Lu answered them one by one. Of course, it was only limited to his personal disciples and registered disciples. The cultivators on the shore did not have this kind of treatment. This also allowed Lu Ping to get to know many cultivators from the Chonghua Mansion and gain some understanding of their cultivation methods. After the Dharma assembly was over, Lu Ping once again felt the surging life force in his blood vessels. Lu Ping knew that this Dharma assembly was a huge accumulation for him. This accumulation, as Lu Ping continued to experience it, would once again usher in a rapid improvement in his cultivation. On the first day after the Dharma assembly, Lu Ping asked his teacher, Taoist Lu, to return to Huangli Island. Taoist Lu did not ask him to stay and only encouraged him to cultivate diligently. Lu Ping bade farewell to Taoist Lu and left Chonghua Mansion. However, he met Taoist Li Xuanru, who had specially come to find him. After Taoist Lu's cultivation reached the late core forging stage, he began to frequently go into closed-door cultivation to prepare for the manifestation stage. Thus, the matters of Chonghua Mansion were taken care of by his second senior sister, Taoist Li Xuanru. Li Xuanru asked Lu Ping about his future plans. After Jinling cultivators reached the mid-blood condensation stage and became an elite disciple of the sect, they had to take responsibility for the development of the sect. Before this, Lu Ping had always been in the Demon Sea, so he had never taken on this responsibility. Now, he could no longer escape this responsibility. There were many kinds of responsibilities. For example, Master Immortal Lu used to be the leader of the team in Jinling Side Courtyard and was responsible for nurturing the sect's reserve strength. As an alchemist, Lu Ping could also enter the alchemy pavilion to refine pills for the sect, and so on. The sect would naturally give him appropriate rewards. Daoist Li suggested, "Junior brother, you have successfully refined the face-retaining pill. You are only one step away from becoming a grandmaster. If you become a full-time alchemist in the sect, you will be a very profitable person. In the future, when the other junior brothers and sisters ask you to refine pills for them, it will be cheaper." Lu Ping understood the situation of the alchemy pavilion from Daoist Li and then politely declined. At the apprenticeship ceremony, Daoist Xianjing, who was ranked third in alchemy in Zhenling, and Daoist Lu became enemies because of Lu Ping's refinement of the face-retaining pill. After becoming a full-time alchemist in the sect, Lu Ping had to refine a certain number of pills and a certain type of pills for the sect every once in a while. Lu Ping was a carefree person by nature and did not want to be bound by this. In the end, Lu Ping decided to join Master Immortal Lu's sea patrol team on Huangli Island. This way, it would be convenient for him to guard his cave abode. Moreover, Master Immortal Lu, Yao Yong, Du Feng, and other good friends would all be there. After listening to Lu Ping's thoughts, Daoist Li smiled and said, "That's good too. Junior brother Lu Ziyuan is also a cautious person. Our sect thinks highly of him as a candidate to advance to the core forging stage. He is also the fourth disciple of Uncle Gua Xinshan, who is on good terms with our Zhonghua lineage. However, the sea patrol is quite dangerous. Many cultivators who go out to the sea are cunning and desperate. Junior brother, you have to be careful." Only then did Lu Ping know the origin of Master Immortal Lu's master. He remembered that Li Xuanru had mentioned that Master Immortal Lu was the 18 generals of the North Sea, so he asked. Daoist Li Xuanru smiled and said, "It seems that Junior brother has really been living in a paradise in the Demon Sea all these years. You don't know anything about the situation in the North Sea." The so-called 18 generals of the North Sea refers to the 18 cultivators with the best battle results in the blood condensation realm since the Forbidden Sea was opened. My Zhenling sect has 2 cultivators among them, and junior brother Lu Ziyuan is one of them. Through Daoist Li's explanation, Lu Ping learned that 2 years ago, when Master Immortal Lu had just advanced to the 9th layer of the blood condensation realm, he was caught in a fierce battle. At that time, Master Immortal Lu was ambushed by 3 9th layer blood condensation realm monsters. In the end, Master Immortal Lu killed 2 of them and chased the 3rd one for thousands of miles in the Demon Sea. After that, Master Immortal Lu fought his way out of the encirclement and killed more than 10 blood condensation monsters along the way. Finally, he safely returned to Huangli Island. This battle made Master Immortal Lu famous among the blood condensation realm cultivators in the North Sea, and he became one of the 18 generals. Lu Ping rubbed his chin and thought to himself, "Looks like I've really missed out on a lot of interesting things in the past 5 years." The funny thing was that a few months ago, Xianling sect's Han Weiyun, under the influence of Xianling sect's propaganda, ousted a wandering cultivator from the North Sea from his position as one of the 18 generals of the North Sea. The reason was that Han Weiyun was ambushed by a primordial giant crocodile in the Demon Sea. Xianling sect's propaganda claimed that Han Weiyun successfully led the Xianling sect cultivators out of the encirclement of 200 demon soldiers led by 4 late blood condensation realm primordial giant crocodiles and a dozen other late blood condensation monsters. Chapter 146. Lu Ping was speechless after listening to Xianling sect's propaganda. As one of the participants in the battle, he naturally knew the situation better than anyone else. Xianling sect, West Hill Island, and Overflowing Ocean Gang only had a total of 70 to 80 cultivators after they broke out of the encirclement. After that, they were hunted down by the monster beasts, and Han Weiyun's decision to form the Dao Soldier Array at the last moment was enough to tarnish his reputation among the North Ocean cultivators. However, Xianling sect's propaganda was clearly to strike first and gain the upper hand. After all, although Han Weiyun's methods were clumsy, he had indeed led his sect's disciples out of the encirclement and avoided being annihilated. And Lu Ping also smelled a conspiracy. After the battle, Ai Buatao of West Hill Island, who was originally one of the 18 generals of the North Sea, did not stand out to clarify the truth. Instead, when Xianling sect publicized Han Weiyun's battle achievements, they also praised Ai Buatao, raising his reputation quite a bit. There were a few rogue cultivators who followed Ai Buatao out, But Lu Ping didn't need to think to know that even if they hadn't been separated, they would have wisely kept their mouths shut. To them, both Xianling sect and West Hill Island's AI family were giants that they couldn't afford to offend. After bidding farewell to second senior sister Li Xuanru, Lu Ping arrived at Jinling's alchemy pavilion under Li Xuanru's guidance. The alchemy pavilion was located on the east side of Tianling Mountain, on a peak called Danding Peak. The peak of Tianling Mountain had been opened up by an almighty master of Jinling, and the underground lava was drawn up to be used for alchemy. Of course, this was only the fire used by ordinary alchemists. As for whether Jinling had a spiritual fire of heaven and earth for alchemy, it was not something that Lu Ping knew. Lu Ping had just arrived at Danding Peak's alchemy pavilion when he saw a person hurrying towards him. Lu Ping was about to ask the person where the alchemy pavilion's enlightened master was when the person recognized Lu Ping. "It's you." Lu Ping stared blankly. Only now did he see that the person who had come was the arrogant cultivator who had once asked for his spirit grass, the disciple of Taoist master Xinjing, Tao Zifang, who had become enemies with his teacher, Taoist master Lu, during the apprenticeship ceremony. "Hee, so it's senior brother Tao." Lu Ping replied with a fake smile. Lu Ping didn't have a good impression of Tao Zifang, not to mention that their teachers didn't have a good relationship. Lu Ping's answer was obviously perfunctory. "What are you doing here?" Tao Zifang obviously looked down on Lu Ping and questioned him directly. Lu Ping chuckled. He could guess something from the other person's tone, but he still said slowly, "I'm here to find the enlightened master." Senior brother Tao also knows that I can refine the face-retaining pill, so it's natural for me to obtain the qualifications of our sect's alchemist. Don't tell me that I need senior brother Tao's permission to come to this alchemy pavilion? Tao Zifang was obviously choked by Lu Ping's sarcastic words, but he couldn't block the door and stop him from entering, so he snorted loudly and walked away. Lu Ping shrugged indifferently and walked directly into the alchemy pavilion. Lu Ping could now be considered a person with a backer. Thinking back to when Lu Ping refused to give Tao Zifang face, Tao Zifang could point at Lu Ping and shout at him. Now the two still didn't have a good relationship, but Tao Zifang didn't dare to be as arrogant as before. However, what Lu Ping didn't know was that just after Lu Ping stepped into the alchemy pavilion, Tao Zifang returned. After looking at the door of the alchemy pavilion, he went in from the side door and went directly to the back hall of the alchemy pavilion. This was the first time Lu Ping came here. He asked a few cultivators and found the enlightened master in the back hall of the alchemy pavilion. "You're the new disciple that senior sister Lu received who can refine the face-retaining pill?" The enlightened master was very interested in Lu Ping. Yes. Lu Ping felt very awkward under the burning gaze of the enlightened master. "Why do you only want to become our sect's pill refiner? With your strength, if you become our sect's professional pill refiner, the sect will definitely nurture you. At that time, all kinds of spirit herbs will be given to you first." The enlightened master obviously cherished talent. There were two types of pill refiners in Jinling. One was the professional pill refiner who belonged to the alchemy pavilion, and the other was the pill refiner who only reported to the alchemy pavilion. There were many benefits to becoming a professional pill refiner in Jinling. Enlightened Master Li Xianru also suggested that Lu Ping join the alchemy pavilion, but Lu Ping tactfully declined. However, Enlightened Master Li still suggested that Lu Ping report his pill refiner qualifications to the sect. This way, although Lu Ping couldn't enjoy the preferential supply of the sect like the pill refiners in alchemy pavilion, in order to attract pill refiners, the sect had more preferential measures for pill refiners who reported to the alchemy pavilion. After listening to Lu Ping's explanation, the enlightened master nodded helplessly. "All right, but in order to become our sect's pill refiner, you still have to pass our sect's test. For our pill refiner test, other than concocting the blood condensation pill, you will also be given the recipe for any mid or late blood condensation pill. As long as you have a success rate of more than 50% for each pill, you will be able to become a pill refiner. However, the sect will only prepare 2 sets of spirit herbs for each pill. You only need to use 1 set of spirit herbs to successfully concoct the pill." Before Lu Ping arrived, he had already heard these rules from enlightened Master Li Xianru. Not only that, if he succeeded, the sect would naturally take back the pills. If he failed, Lu Ping would have to compensate for the loss of spirit herbs. These rules made Lu Ping very helpless. Out of duty, the enlightened master explained the rules to Lu Ping and said, "Then choose 2 pills." After saying that, he clapped his hands and a pill refiner boy walked into the hall. On the tray in his hands were 2 cylindrical magic tools. These 2 magic tools could block the probing of a cultivator's divine sense. There were 10 bamboo sticks in each. The boy looked at Lu Ping strangely, but Lu Ping didn't mind. He casually took out a bamboo stick from each of the cylindrical magic tools and handed them to the enlightened master. The enlightened master took a look and looked at the boy thoughtfully. Then he said to Lu Ping, "Looks like your luck isn't too good." Lu Ping took the bamboo sticks and looked at them helplessly. 1000 Chance Pill, Scarlet Blood Pill. These 2 types of medicinal pellets were the highest grade medicinal pellets for mid and late blood condensation realm cultivators. They were also the most difficult to concoct. Yet, Lu Ping managed to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It was clear how bad his luck was today, especially the Scarlet Blood Pill. This pill was originally a type of blood spirit pill. Lu Ping had concocted this type of pill many times in the Monster Sea. However, this Scarlet Blood Pill was a fire attribute blood spirit pill. It was the bane of Lu Ping's pure water attribute arcane energy. Lu Ping concocted pills for his own needs. He had never concocted a Scarlet Blood Pill before. Lu Ping helplessly followed the boy to the underground pill refinement room of the Pill Refinement Pavilion. The real location of the Pill Refinement Pavilion was in the belly of Danding Peak. Here, the Pill Refinement Pavilion had set up 36 pill refinement rooms of various sizes. They were divided into A, B, C, and D grades. They surrounded the earth fire vein and formed 4 concentric layers. In the outermost layer were 18 D-grade alchemy rooms, and in each of these rooms was a low-grade alchemy furnace with the weakest earth fire. Further in were the C-grade alchemy rooms with 9 mid-grade alchemy furnaces, and naturally, the earth fire energy was much stronger. Further in were the B-grade alchemy rooms with 6 high-grade alchemy furnaces, and the innermost 3 A-grade alchemy rooms with 3 top-grade alchemy furnaces. If Lu Ping wanted to become a pill refiner, he could use the mid-grade pill furnaces in the C-grade pill refinement rooms. Lu Ping followed the boy to the belly of the mountain. The person guarding the C-grade pill refinement rooms was a late blood condensation cultivator. The boy explained the situation to the cultivator. The cultivator glanced at Lu Ping and sneered. "C-grade pill refinement rooms are full. Just wait for a while." Lu Ping noticed the other party's obvious teasing tone, but he still asked, "Then when will the C-grade pill refinement rooms be free?" The cultivator replied impatiently, "How would I know? These pill refiners are all arrogant. Their reservation time is always delayed. I want to urge them to come out, but they were even angrier than me. Just wait. Anyway, the shortest reservation time is 1 month later." This was obviously an excuse. The longest time to concoct a blood condensation realm pill was 3 to 5 days. When a pill refiner concocted pills, they would usually rest for a while to recover their spiritual energy and divine sense. Then, they would start again after 1 or 2 days. Who would concoct pills continuously for a month? Lu Ping was annoyed, but he didn't show it on his face. Instead, he asked calmly, "Can I use the B-grade pill refinement rooms?" Haha. The cultivator sneered as if he had heard a joke. B-grade pill refinement rooms are only used for core forging realm pills. You don't have the qualifications. The cultivator dragged his voice as if he had heard a joke. Seeing Lu Ping's expressionless face, the cultivator thought he was trying to restrain himself. He rolled his eyes and said, "There are still some D-grade pill refinement rooms available. Junior brother, why don't you choose one?" The cultivator had a questioning expression on his face. His eyes were filled with ridicule. He was sure that Lu Ping would be angered by him. Lu Ping smiled and said, "Sure." The cultivator looked at Lu Ping's nonchalant reply as if he didn't hear it clearly. He was stunned for a moment. Lu Ping didn't have time to pay attention to this person. He said, "Lead the way." The cultivator finally reacted. His face turned red and the veins on his temples twitched. Just as he was about to say something nasty, he suddenly tilted his head and calmed down. He laughed evilly and said, "Junior brother really has a card up your sleeve?" However, the Dan Concoction Pavilion has a rule. If a cultivator wants to pass the assessment, they can only use the pill furnaces in the pill refinement rooms. To prevent cheating, if Junior Brother has any tools, you can't use them. I know. Lu Ping coldly looked at the cultivator. The cultivator suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He didn't know why he panicked, but he still said, since Junior Brother knows, then the servant will bring Junior Brother to D-grade pill refinement room number 9. Not long after Lu Ping left, the cultivator let out a long sigh. He composed himself and turned to look at the person who walked out of the pill refinement room behind him. He said, "Junior Brother, are you satisfied?" The person smiled and said, "Thank you, Senior Brother, for your help. This is a bottle of Snow Wave pills. It is suitable for Senior Brother Lee's current cultivation level. In the future, if Senior Brother has a need for pills, don't hesitate to bring spirit herbs to me. I will definitely ask Master to refine them first." The cultivator happily thanked him. Chapter 147. Just as Lu Ping was about to enter the alchemy room, he suddenly paused, turned his head to look in the direction of the guard, and then entered the alchemy room. Sure enough, it was him. Lu Ping slowly withdrew his spiritual sense. The person who was talking to the guard at the entrance was Tao Zifang, whom Lu Ping had met at the entrance of the alchemy pavilion. Lu Ping had already seen some clues from the alchemy boy. When the pill-testing Taoist saw the boy bring out the 2 cylindrical artifacts, the pill-testing Taoist glanced at the boy, causing the boy to be covered in sweat, so Lu Ping took note of it. Sure enough, after that, he had to refine 2 kinds of high-difficulty pills, and the guard gave him all kinds of difficulties, until the person behind the scenes, Tao Zifang, appeared. Lu Ping was slightly surprised, looking at the narrow alchemy room in front of him. The floor was engraved with array formations, connected to the fire-gathering plate in the middle. This should be the fire-gathering array to absorb the earth fire. Above the fire-gathering plate was a low-grade alchemy furnace. The carvings on the furnace were mostly worn, obviously due to frequent use. Lu Ping sat cross-legged in front of the alchemy furnace, recovering his mind. This was the first time Lu Ping used a low-grade alchemy furnace and an ordinary earth fire to refine pills. Although Lu Ping did not have anyone to guide him in alchemy, his starting point was high. Using a middle-grade alchemy furnace and a heaven and earth spiritual fire, this time was also a challenge for him. After Lu Ping adjusted his state of mind, he took a deep breath and surged his arcane energy. His hands formed 9 seals in a row, and the flame-gathering plate in front of him suddenly spewed out a pale blue flame, raising the temperature in the alchemy room. Lu Ping used his spiritual sense to feel the characteristics of the earth fire. Not only was the temperature difference too big, the flame also lacked an indescribable sense of spirituality. Lu Ping had to spend a lot of energy to control this earth fire for alchemy. This was the difference between an ordinary flame and a heaven and earth spiritual fire. The preheating of the alchemy furnace, the melting of the spiritual herbs, refining, fusing, and finally the pill formation. The time spent far exceeded the time Lu Ping normally needed. Correspondingly, Lu Ping's consumption of spiritual sense and magic power was also greatly increased. After a whole 2 days, Lu Ping finally formed 18 seals. The low-grade alchemy furnace rumbled. Suddenly, a medicinal fragrance filled the room. Lu Ping waved his hand, opened the alchemy furnace, and took out 6,000 chance Dan from the furnace. Lu Ping sighed helplessly. It was only a 60% success rate. If he had a mid-grade cauldron and the Azure Spirit Fire, he was confident he could raise the success rate to 80% or 90%. Lu Ping shook his head, throwing away these distracting thoughts, and started to prepare to concoct the Scarlet Blood Dan. Normally, when Lu Ping concocted late blood condensation pills, his success rate was only around 60 to 70%. Although Lu Ping felt that his pill concoction skills had improved greatly after successfully concocting the face-halting pill, the earth fire and the low-grade alchemy furnace negated this advantage, and Lu Ping only had a 50% chance of passing the test. Through the previous cauldron of 1,000 revolution pellets, Lu Ping had become more familiar with the earth fire and the low-grade cauldron. This increased his chances of winning. However, at the last moment, Lu Ping's divine sense was depleted, and the conflict between the fire elemental medicinal pellets and the water elemental medicinal pellets caused him to make a mistake. Hence, He only managed to obtain 4 scarlet blood pellets after opening the cauldron. On the contrary, Lu Ping heaved a sigh of relief. Although he had concocted many blood spirit pills, this was his first time concocting a fire attribute blood spirit pill. As expected, after resting, Lu Ping easily reached a 50% success rate when concocting the second batch of Scarlet Blood Dan. Lu Ping originally planned to concoct the rest of the 1,000 Chance Dan's spiritual herbs, but on second thought, these pills would be returned to the sect for free, and he wouldn't get anything out of it, so he gave up on this idea. In the back hall of the Alchemy Pavilion, the pill-testing Enlightened Master looked at the 6,000 Chance Dan, 9 Scarlet Blood Dan, and 1 set of spiritual herbs that Lu Ping brought over. He nodded and praised, as expected of a pill master who can concoct quasi-master-grade pills. Even with external interference, you can still be so relaxed. Finished speaking, the pill-testing Enlightened Master smiled meaningfully at Lu Ping, took Lu Ping's identity token, placed a restriction on it, and returned it to Lu Ping, saying, "With this restriction, you have the qualifications to be a pill master of our sect. Every year, you can purchase a certain amount of spiritual herbs, and the price is only 80% of the market price. However, if there is an urgent pill concoction mission, you will have to respond to the sect's call." Lu Ping nodded, saying, "It's my duty to work for the sect, but I still need to buy this year's spiritual herbs first." Back at Huangli Island, Lu Ping and Yao Yong and the others were in a lively atmosphere. When everyone heard that Lu Ping had become Lu Xuanling's direct disciple, they were all very envious and surprised. Zhong Jian said with a sour face, "In our group, other than senior brother Yao Yong and junior sister Shi Lingling, you were the only one who became a direct disciple the moment you became a disciple. Even junior sister Shi Lingling only became a direct disciple after 3 years. The rest of us are still disciples in name." Lu Ping smiled bitterly, saying, "Speaking of becoming a disciple, I heard from Master Xianling that I was recommended by his master, and his master is my master's Dao companion. However, I still don't know who this master is. I only know that his surname is Jiang." "Stupid," Shi Lingling interrupted. "Of course it's Master Jiang Xianling. Among the 7 masters of our sect's 3 truths and 4 spirits, the only one who can become Dao companions with Master Lu Xianling is Master Jiang Xianling." Lu Ping smiled. "Indeed, I guessed it was him. But that day I saw that Master didn't seem to like to talk about Master Jiang, so I didn't dare to ask." When Yao Yong heard Shi Lingling's words, he was also curious and asked, "I've heard senior brother mention the 3 truths and 4 spirits before. It seems that my master, Master Chu Xuanqing, is the fire spirit of the 4 spirits, but I don't know the rest. Junior sister Shi, do you know who these 7 masters are?" Shi Lingling shook her head, saying, "The 3 truths and 4 spirits is the name of the 7 masters of our sect over 100 years ago. Now they are all in the late core forging stage, and most of the time they are in closed-door training or traveling, preparing to break through to the Dharma stage, so there are very few people who have seen them. I've only occasionally heard my father mention that Master Jiang is the head of the 3 truths and Master Lu is the head of the 4 spirits, but I don't know the rest." After the crowd dispersed, Lu Ping immersed himself in his cultivation. After listening to Enlightened Master Lu's lecture, Lu Ping had gained a lot from it. Lu Ping urgently needed to convert these gains into a breakthrough in his cultivation base. Therefore, other than the 5-day patrol on the ocean every month, Lu Ping spent most of his time in closed-door cultivation, cultivating and concocting medicinal pellets. Occasionally, he would come out of closed-door cultivation to ask Master Immortal Lu about some cultivation problems, or place some medicinal pellets he concocted in the Charms Pellet Pavilion. Then, he would ask Hu Lily and Feng Tao to purchase spirit herbs for him. This kind of enriching training continued for more than a year, and Lu Ping finally experienced the feeling of his cultivation advancing by leaps and bounds. Vigorous mana flowed throughout his body along with his bloodline, and Lu Ping felt that his bloodline was like a surging river, gathering all the mana in his body to his heart, where it condensed into strands of essence that seeped into the space in his heart, strengthening the condensed blood beads. Finally, the 5 condensed blood beads that were far larger than ordinary people's were filled to the limit. The Flood Dragon bloodline that occupied the absolute position once again developed its strength to the peak, and it began to sharpen its knives against the other bloodlines. This time, it devoured the fire attribute cicada bloodline. When Lu Ping spat out the discarded cicada bloodline, the sixth condensed blood bead in the space in his heart had already expanded from nothing to 1/3 the size of the original 5 condensed blood beads. He had finally reached the 6th layer of the hemolysis realm. Lu Ping could not hide the joy in his heart. On this day, as soon as Lu Ping finished his training, Chun Lian came to find him. Chun Lian greedily breathed in the spiritual energy within Lu Ping's grotto mansion and praised, "Every time I come here, it is a form of enjoyment. Why do I feel that the density of spiritual energy here has increased again?" Lu Ping smiled. "You are quite sensitive. My master gave me a spirit-gathering pearl." Spirit-gathering pearl. No wonder. Chun Lian was a little surprised, but then he smiled and said, "My teacher's gift isn't bad either. It's a complete set of fire-controlling art. It's very useful for forging weapons. It's much stronger than the set of fire-controlling art that my teacher passed down to me." Only then did Lu Ping notice that Chun Lian had broken through to the 7th layer of the hemolysis realm. He happily said, "So, senior brother has reached the late stage of the hemolysis realm. Did Sage Enigma Flame accept you as his personal disciple? No wonder he gave you a fire control technique as a greeting gift." Chun Lian proudly nodded his head. "Hee, junior brother, you are not bad yourself. 6th layer. You are about to face the late stage." Lu Ping sighed. "How can I compare to you guys? We have been staying in the Yaoxi for 5 years. Everyone's cultivation has increased. Senior brother Yao Yong was the first to break through to the late stage, followed by senior sister Shi Lingling and senior sister Long Qian. I heard that senior brother Du Feng, Zhongjian, and Ma you are in seclusion to break through to the late stage. Now that you have broken through, we are holding you back." Chun Lian laughed and scolded, "Come on, who dares to say that you are a burden? Among us, even Yao Yong, who has the highest cultivation, admitted that he is no match for you, let alone the others." Lu Ping chuckled and did not reply. "Right. Do you have any more spirit-stained soil?" Chun Lian finally told him the reason for his visit. "I do." "Why? Are there a lot of people forging defensive artifacts recently?" Lu Ping remembered that he had dug out a few thousand gene of spirit-stained soil from the secret or vein not long ago. After refining it, it was enough for him to forge a few high-grade defensive artifacts. "That's right." Chun Lian's face turned grim as he continued, "In the past year, the situation in the demon territory has become even more tense. A large number of blood condensation realm demon beasts have begun to organize an organized counterattack against the cultivators that entered the demon territory. In the past, the human cultivators had the upper hand, but now they are evenly matched. Although many cultivators have fallen, the survivors have reaped greater rewards. As the saying goes, fortune comes from danger. Hence, the number of cultivators entering the demon territory to hunt demon beasts has increased, and the demand for defensive artifacts has also increased. Chapter 148. The matter of the spirit ash soil is easy. I will bring you to a place later. But now that you are in the late stage of the blood condensation realm, you won't run out of energy to forge top-grade magic tools, right? When will my landslide be upgraded to a top-grade magic tool? Also, I am currently lacking a water attribute defensive magic tool. I will leave this matter to you." Lu Ping thought for a moment and smiled. Chun Lian shook his head helplessly and said, "I will naturally keep the matter of upgrading landslide in mind. This is a test for me. But you better think of a way to forge your defensive magic tool yourself. Firstly, I don't have many water attribute top-grade spiritual materials with me, and I really don't have the time. Secondly, I heard that we will be going on a mission to the demon territory's territorial waters soon. If I want to forge it, I'm afraid I won't have enough time. After all, upgrading a magic tool and forging a new one are two different things." Lu Ping thought about it and agreed. But when he heard that Chun Lian was going to the demon territory's territorial waters, he hurriedly asked, "What news did you hear?" Chun Lian didn't answer his question. Instead, he asked, "Do you still remember the time you bid for the water avoidance shield at the auction 6 years ago?" Of course, Lu Ping remembered this. At that time, He was tricked by Li Ziming, but he used the spirit ash soil to retaliate. Chun Lian clearly wasn't talking about this. He said, "During the auction for the spirit ash soil, my father interfered and raised the price of the spirit ash soil to a level that far exceeded its original value. We were in a hurry." Lu Ping knew that Chun Lian was going to say something he didn't know, so he listened attentively. Li Ziming knew that it was a trap, but he still spent a few thousand more spirit stones because he was preparing for the beast wave for the family. Beast wave? Lu Ping's expression finally changed. How did he know there would be a beast wave? Every beast tide is a disaster. Chun Lian said, "Not only does the Li family know about this, but all the vassal families of Jinling also know about this. Once the Forbidden Sea is opened, there will be a beast tide in 10 to 15 years. Every beast tide is a blow to all the forces in the North Sea. Other than the top 10 sects of the North Sea, no other forces can guarantee their own safety, let alone a single cultivator. Therefore, once the Forbidden Sea is opened, all the small and medium forces start to prepare for the beast tide." Lu Ping calmed down and asked, "How long does a beast tide usually last?" 3 to 5 years. Chun Lian smiled mockingly and said, "Actually, after the sea ban was lifted, the North Ocean cultivators swarmed in. To the demons, isn't it a human tide? The beast tide is just the demon race's counterattack. Both sides are evenly matched, and both sides will suffer heavy losses." Lu Ping was surprised. Could it be that the recent organized resistance of the demon race against the cultivators entering the demon territory is because of the beast tide? Chun Lian laughed and said, "Of course it's related, but this is just a prelude. The demon race is so huge that it would take a long time for them to form a beast tide and launch a unified counterattack. Moreover, the demon race's forces are even more complicated, and they believe in strength above all else. This makes it extremely difficult for a beast tide to form in a short period of time. Our mission this time should be purely to kill the demon beasts and weaken their counterattack. At the same time, the sect needs income, right?" Lu Ping nodded. He understood that this was a way for the sect to show off their strength. By suppressing the demon beasts and counterattacking, they would tell the North Ocean cultivators that the demon territory outside of Xianxi Island was still under Zhiling's control. This would then attract more cultivators to come and form a virtuous cycle. When the beast tide arrived, a large number of cultivators would be able to replenish Xinling's defensive strength and reduce Xinling's losses. Lu Ping secretly brought Chun Lian to the cave where he found the spirit-stained earth mine. Chun Lian was pleasantly surprised and said, "I didn't expect junior apprentice brother to have such a discovery. No wonder you have so much spirit-stained earth. Then it's settled. I'll be responsible for mining this mine and use it to forge high-grade magic tools. We'll split the profits 50 to 50. Lu Ping shook his head and said, "It's true that I found the mine, but whether it's mining or forging, I can't help. I also don't have the time to care about these things. Just give me 30% of the profits." Chun Lian panicked and said, "Do you still want to take back your high-grade crafting furnace? If you do that, we won't even be brothers anymore." Lu Ping couldn't argue with Chun Lian and could only agree. However, he asked Chun Lian to pass all the profits from the spirit-stained earth mine to Hu Lily and Feng Tao so that they could help him purchase spirit herbs. 2 days later, Lu Ping had just finished concocting a batch of pills when he received a message from Master Immortal Lu. Master Immortal Lu wanted him to discuss the matter of sailing to the sea. After the Jinling exterminated the pirates disguised by the various sects, Huangli Island became more prosperous and its status rose again. Due to the increasing unrest in the Sea of Monsters, the number of Jinling blood condensation cultivators stationed on the island had reached 120. Other than the 30 early blood condensation cultivators who were responsible for the daily management of the island, the remaining 90 mid and late blood condensation cultivators were divided into 6 teams. Each team was led by 3 late blood condensation cultivators, and each team was responsible for patrolling the sea for half a month. The first team that Lu Ping belonged to was the strongest among the 6 teams. The leader of the team was one of the North Sea's 18 generals, Master Immortal Lu Ziyuan, a 9th-level blood condensation cultivator. When Lu Ping arrived, most of the people had already arrived. Lu Ping looked around and saw Master Immortal Lu Ziyuan sitting in the main seat. Lu Ping also recognized the two assistants beside him. One of them was Master Immortal Du Zixing, who was with Group 7 when Jinling attacked Xianqi Island. Now, his cultivation had also reached the 8th level blood condensation realm. The other person was Group 12's leader, Master Immortal Fang Xian, who made a bet with Master Immortal Lu during the side courtyard competition. Below them were Yao Yong, Du Feng, Shi Lingling, Long Qian, and Chun Lian, the 4 7th level blood condensation cultivators. Du Feng had also broken through, and Lu Ping was quite envious of him. Before this, Lu Ping's cultivation was the fastest. Zhong Jin and Ma Yu were still at the peak of the 6th level blood condensation realm, but the essence chi smoke above their heads seemed to be condensing around their bodies. It was obvious that their essence chi was about to condense into astral energy. They were only a step away from the late stage of the blood condensation realm. Behind them were Hu Lili, Niu Dazhuang, and Zheng Jie. They were all at the 5th level blood condensation realm. There was one person who surprised Lu Ping. This person was Zhang Ziqing, who used to be in the same group as Lu Ping. He was also at the 5th level blood condensation realm, but he was called Zhang Ziqing now. Jinling's blood condensation cultivators all had the word Z in their names. Including Lu Ping, the first team had a total of 15 people. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Master Immortal Lu Ziyuan said, "Ever since the sea ban was lifted, our sect has been organizing a large-scale hunt in the demon territory every year. This year is no exception, but the scale will be even bigger." Everyone's interest was piqued by Master Immortal Lu's words. Master Immortal Lu continued, "More than a year ago, after the demon race ambushed Xianling sect, Western Tomb Island, and overflowing sea gang cultivators, the battles between the demon beasts and human cultivators in the demon territory have become more and more intense. Therefore, the North Sea Alliance has coordinated with all the sects to organize a large-scale hunt against the demon beasts. We want to completely suppress the demon beasts' arrogance and delay, or even reduce the time and damage caused by the demon beast wave." Master Immortal Lu's words were filled with excitement, and everyone was eager to give it a try. Master Immortal Fang smiled and said, "Everyone, don't be too excited. The demon territory is dangerous and unpredictable. Everyone must be careful and pay attention to your own safety." Master Immortal Du also added, "Cultivators participating in this hunt can purchase the items they need from the sect at half price. However, a third of the harvest from this hunt will be donated to the sect free of charge. The rest is up to everyone. Of course, I hope that everyone will prioritize selling the items to the sect first." Seeing that everyone understood, Master Immortal Lu said, "We'll set off in 7 days. Everyone, make the best use of this time to prepare everything. This concerns everyone's lives, so you must be careful." After everyone left, they discussed what they needed to prepare and where they could purchase the items. Lu Ping remembered that he still had 3 chances to enter the blood condensation blood vault after he arrived at Failing Island. Because he didn't have anything that he urgently needed, he decided to postpone these 3 chances to a later time. Right now, Lu Ping urgently needed a defensive artifact, so he could see if there was anything suitable. When he arrived at Tianling Mountain's blood condensation blood vault again, Lu Ping was told that he only had 2 chances left. Lu Ping hurriedly asked for the reason. The late blood condensation realm cultivator guarding the blood condensation blood vault smiled. "We're afraid that disciples like you will come and take advantage of us. When you're in the early blood condensation realm, you can only use 1 high-grade artifact at most. If you wait until you're in the late blood condensation realm to exercise your right to choose, won't there be only a few top-grade artifacts left? That's why when you're in the early blood condensation realm, you can only choose 3 artifacts when you're in the mid-blood condensation realm. By then, you'll only be able to choose 1. Lu Ping had no choice but to choose a water attribute top-grade defensive artifact from the blood condensation blood vault, Cloudy Sky. This was a cloud-shaped artifact. When activated, it would form a cloud above one's head, blocking out all light. Hence, it was named Cloudy Sky. The top-grade artifacts in the blood condensation blood vault weren't the best. According to Chen Lian, due to various reasons, the top-grade artifacts here basically didn't have much potential to improve. Moreover, top-grade artifacts with the potential to become magic treasures weren't usually kept in the blood condensation blood vault. However, Lu Ping didn't mind. He didn't plan on using these artifacts to forge magic treasures in the future. It was just a transition. With one last chance left, Lu Ping decided to choose a concealment secret art. Among Lu Ping's 12 absolutes of the North Sea, although the art of sea deception and art of traveling through clouds and summoning range both had concealment effects, these two arts were mainly offensive techniques. The concealment effect was secondary and had many limitations. In the past, Lu Ping had to use his powerful divine sense to bring out the concealment effect. Lu Ping had been hunted down several times. A high-grade concealment technique would undoubtedly have many uses: escape, tracking, sneak attacks, and ambushes. Lu Ping naturally coveted it. Unfortunately, although there were many such secret techniques in the blood condensation bank, none of them satisfied Lu Ping. Lu Ping couldn't help but shake his head regretfully when he thought back to Master Xian Yin and his disciples' elusive concealment technique during the apprenticeship ceremony. Fortunately, Lu Ping still managed to find a related incomplete secret art. Chapter 149. This secret technique didn't have any concealment function, but it could conceal Lu Ping's true cultivation level, causing other cultivators to misjudge Lu Ping's cultivation level through their divine sense. This was a special secret technique used to disguise oneself as a pig to eat a tiger. The cultivation of this secret technique was very demanding. First, it required a strong divine sense as the foundation. The stronger the divine sense, the tighter the concealment of one's cultivation level. Second, it required the cultivator to cultivate a pure elemental cultivation technique, and the purer the spiritual energy, the better the effect of the secret technique. Lu Ping's divine sense was as strong as a 9th-layer blood condensation realm cultivator. In fact, it was even stronger than an ordinary 9th-layer blood condensation realm cultivator. After all, the divine sense had many uses, and many cultivators cultivated secret techniques to strengthen their divine sense. According to the secret technique, Lu Ping could conceal his cultivation level, at least at the early blood condensation realm, without being detected by late blood condensation realm cultivators. This made Lu Ping very satisfied. After all, he also cultivated the soul-splitting technique. If he succeeded, even a core forging enlightened master wouldn't be able to see through his spirit concealment technique. After leaving the blood condensation realm, Lu Ping went to Chonghua Manor to visit enlightened Master Lu. When enlightened Master Lu saw Lu Ping's improvement, he gave him a few words of encouragement. When he heard that Lu Ping was going to participate in the sect's hunting mission, he gave him a jade talisman. Lu Ping took it and saw that it was a talisman treasure. Enlightened Master Lu said, "This is a talisman treasure I casually made 100 years ago. I'll give it to you to protect yourself." Lu Ping thanked him. When he saw that there were 7 white clouds surging inside the jade talisman, Lu Ping suppressed the joy in his heart and asked enlightened Master Lu some questions. At this moment, enlightened Master Lu's expression suddenly changed, and he turned his head to look at the peak of Tianling Mountain. Lu Ping saw the change in enlightened Master Lu's expression. For a moment, it was incomparably complicated. He didn't know what was going on. He followed enlightened Master Lu's gaze and looked towards the peak, only to discover that the Tianling Mountain peak, which was usually shrouded in clouds and mist, had suddenly formed a huge vortex. The vortex formed a huge funnel, and there was a faint rumbling sound coming from the center of the vortex. Lu Ping's divine sense was sharp. He could faintly sense that the surrounding spiritual energy was becoming thinner, and the direction of the spiritual energy flow was towards the peak of Tianling Mountain. The huge change in the sky immediately alarmed the cultivators on Heaven's Spirit Mountain. Many cultivators came out of their cave mansions and stared at the huge spiritual energy whirlpool at the peak of Heaven's Spirit Mountain, trying to guess what was going on. Could it be that someone had made a breakthrough, and it happened at the peak of Tianling Mountain? Just when the Chonghua Mansion was in a state of silence, the void beside enlightened Master Lu trembled, and a sound-transmitting magic sword suddenly appeared in front of him. Enlightened Master Lu ignored the dumbfounded Lu Ping. He took the magic sword and bowed slightly. After examining it, he said a few words and sent the magic sword into the rippling void beside him. After that, the space calmed down. Enlightened Master Lu Xinling looked at the bewildered Lu Ping and said calmly, "It's our sex Laozu practicing a new divine power at the peak of Tianling Mountain, and he accidentally caused a huge commotion." Lu Ping let out an "oh" and said enviously, "Fei Xiang Laozu, divine power is indeed earth-shattering." Enlightened Master Lu didn't comment. Although Lu Ping couldn't see anything, he felt that the sky at the peak of Tianling Mountain was definitely related to his master. However, since his master didn't say anything, as his disciple, he couldn't ask. At this moment, 5 rays of light flew in from outside the Chonghua mansion. After landing, it turned out to be Li Xuanru, Zhao Xuanji, and Wang Xinjing, the 3 core forging stage senior sisters, and 2 in-name disciples. After the 3 landed, it was obvious that they had something to say, but they saw Lu Ping. Without waiting for the 3 to speak, Enlightened Master Lu said first, "Inform the disciples that it was our sex Laozu practicing his divine power at the peak of Tianling Mountain. All disciples should practice diligently. There's no need to panic." The 5 nodded and sent out sound-transmitting talismans to inform the disciples. The 5 senior brothers and sisters already had the qualifications to open a mansion and accept disciples. Lu Ping took the opportunity to give 3 bottles of face-retaining pills to the 3 senior sisters and said, "These are the face-retaining pills I refined in the past year. I was planning to send them to the 3 senior sisters today. Now, it'll save me the trouble of traveling." The 3 senior sisters happily accepted the face-retaining pills and thanked Lu Ping. Lu Ping knew that the senior sisters still had something to discuss with his master, so he took his leave. When Lu Ping left the Chonghua mansion, the commotion caused by the sky at the peak of Tianling Mountain had already calmed down. Obviously, everyone had received the notice from the sect's higher-ups about Laozu practicing his divine power. Lu Ping looked at the remaining 14 face-retaining pills in his storage ring and sighed inwardly. Sure enough, pill refiners were the wealthiest among the cultivators. Normally, when a cultivator asked a pill refiner for a bottle of blood condensation realm pills, they would need to prepare 2 sets of spirit herbs for a bottle. If it was a late blood condensation realm pill, it was normal for some pill refiners to ask for 3 sets of spirit herbs. After the pill refinement was completed, the pill refiner would gladly accept the excess. In order to refine a bottle of core forging realm pills, cultivators would usually need to prepare 3 to 4 sets of spirit herbs for the pill refiner. For Avatar realm pills, it was no longer a matter of how many sets of spirit herbs there were. Due to the scarcity of spirit herbs, Laozu would usually gather enough spirit herbs and ask the pill refiner to refine it. Even if only 1 pill was refined, Laozu would have to thank the pill refiner and prepare enough gifts. The status of pill refiners among the cultivators was obvious. After the apprenticeship ceremony, some well-informed cultivators came to Lu Ping and asked him to refine pills for them. However, Lu Ping didn't want to delay his cultivation because of pill refinement. Moreover, Lu Ping's cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds at that time, so he used seclusion as an excuse to reject all requests for pill refinement. He would only help his good friends like Chen Lian and Yao Yong, or his 3 senior sisters from the same sect. Lu Ping's 3 senior sisters knew that Lu Ping hadn't reached the level of a master, so they each prepared 4 sets of spirit herbs for Lu Ping to use to hone his pill refinement skills. 4 sets of spirit herbs had a success rate of 30%, and the remaining 8 sets had a stable success rate of 40%. Apart from the 3 bottles of 30 pills he gave to his 3 senior sisters, he still had 14 pills left. Including the pills he refined for his teacher, Lu Ping still had 18 pills on him. Lu Ping didn't use the pills himself. After all, after reaching the late stage of blood condensation, his lifespan was close to 300 years. This way, he could maintain his 20-year-old appearance until he was 60 years old. It would be a waste to use the pills now. After returning to Huangli Island, Lu Ping immediately went to Chen Lian's smithing shop. He wanted to upgrade his landslide to a top-grade magic tool in 3 days. This way, his strength would increase by another level. Landslide already had a total of 9 seals. This was the limit of a high-grade magic tool. If he wanted to upgrade it to a top-grade magic tool, he would need to fuse all 9 seals together. This would require the magic tool to be of an extremely high quality. Chun Lian ordered Lu Ping to purify the melted rank 2 mutated spirit material, deep sea silver iron, using his arcane energy. This way, after being contaminated with Lu Ping's arcane energy, Lu Ping would be able to use it smoothly. This would lay a solid foundation for upgrading Landslide to a magic tool in the future. Lu Ping remembered that he learned the spirit fire smelting purification technique in the smithing hall of Failing Island. Since he didn't know any purification techniques, he could only use the dumbest method of purifying his arcane energy. He wouldn't lose anything if he used what he learned now. To ensure the quality of the purification, Lu Ping did it alone. Naturally, Lu Ping didn't want the earth fire that Chun Lian used to purify his spirit material. He took out the blue spirit fire and followed the requirements of the spirit fire smelting purification technique to purify the deep sea silver iron bit by bit until he was familiar with it. Then, he used his arcane energy and started to purify the mutated deep sea silver iron. In the end, the large piece of deep sea silver iron shrunk by 3/4. The liquid was pure silver without any impurities. When Lu Ping called Chen Lian in, Chen Lian looked at the exhausted Lu Ping and the puddle of pure deep-sea silver iron and cursed, "Pervert." Lu Ping urgently recovered his arcane energy and then helped Chun Lian to fuse Landslide with the deep-sea silver iron. At the same time, he connected the 9 arcane energy restrictions to form a cycle and become a whole. Under the activation of Lu Ping's arcane energy, the original grayish-black iron seal turned into a warm silver jade color. The domineering and solemn appearance also became reserved. Lu Ping held the 3-inch cube in his hand and played with it. He loved it so much that he couldn't put it down. After successfully upgrading Landslide, Lu Ping hurried to Elder Chen's crafting shop on Dekuan Island and took a simple and unadorned jade pendant from Elder Chen. This jade pendant was made by Lu Ping using the top-grade spirit material Millennium Cold Jade, given to him by his second senior apprentice sister Li Xianru as the main body. He also combined the high-grade and top-grade water attribute spirit materials he had collected over the years and asked Elder Chen to refine it into a top-grade auxiliary arcane artifact. This arcane artifact didn't have any offensive or defensive functions. It only had the effect of calming one's mind, gathering spiritual energy, and preventing qi deviation. Lu Ping hung this jade pendant on his waist and immediately felt his whole body become spirited. When he operated his arcane technique, the absorption and recovery of spiritual energy became a little faster. His whole body seemed to have an extra layer of ethereal aura. In the end, Elder Chen's crafting skills were still more experienced. Although Chen Lian had fused the strong points of 2 schools and had greater potential, compared to Elder Chen, he was still too inexperienced. 7 days later, Lu Ping and the rest gathered in Huangli Island's meeting hall. At the same time, the other 5 patrol teams were also present. Everyone was in high spirits and was ready to set off. At this time, Lu Ziyuan and a dozen late blood condensation cultivators escorted a man in his 30s into the meeting hall. Everyone looked at this man, but they couldn't find any trace of a cultivator on him. The man walked to the center of the meeting hall and looked at the cultivators around him. He smiled and said, "My name is Yang Xuanmu. For this hunting mission, I will be the backup for Huangli Island. Everyone can fight the demonic beasts without worry. You don't have to worry about the monster Enlightened Master's revenge." When everyone heard that there was an Enlightened Master as backup, their faces lit up with joy. Enlightened Master Yang Xuanmu continued, "Recently, a group of demonic beasts has been wantonly killing human cultivators in the demon territory to collect blood and flesh. Their methods are extremely cruel. If you encounter them, you must capture and kill them. If you don't have enough strength, report to me immediately. I will dispatch the nearby cultivators to reinforce you. Do not let them escape." Even though Enlightened Master Yang's voice was low, it was filled with killing intent. His voice rang in everyone's ears as if it had some kind of magical power. Lu Ping and the rest engraved it in their hearts, and their fighting spirit soared. Lu Ping had a premonition that they were going to set off a bloody storm in the demon territory. No wonder he was a genius on the same level as Yao Yong back in the Zhenling side courtyard. The third patrol team stood out from the crowd. Liu laughed proudly as he looked at the people lagging behind. Li Cheng and Lin Shang couldn't help but look at the first group, especially Lu Ping. Their gazes were filled with provocation. At this moment, a carriage suddenly dashed out from the fifth patrol team. This carriage was pulled by 4 fine horses, and there was a cultivator standing on the carriage as the driver. The carriage sped across the sea, leaving 2 white splashes in the air. In the blink of an eye, it caught up to the flying boat. Lu Ping looked at the 4 fine horses with curiosity. They were clearly not demonic beasts, but 4 puppet beasts. Moreover, each of them was in the mid-stage blood condensation realm. The appearance of the flying boat and the carriage seemed to have ignited the cultivator's passion. Several bird cries and beast roars could be heard, and a few demonic beasts appeared in the sky. There were also a few demonic beasts running on the surface of the sea. More than a dozen cultivators ran ahead of them. The rest of the cultivators also showed their skills. For a moment, a race between cultivators was staged in the sky above the buffer zone. Yao Yong turned his head and smiled. Looks like we have to show our skills too. We can't let others look down on us for no reason. Yao Yong put his finger in his mouth and blew on it. With a long neigh, a sturdy maroon Qilin horse with 4 hooves burning with raging flames appeared on the surface of the sea. Yao Yong leaped onto the Qilin horse and shouted, "I'll go first." The Qilin horse leapt up with its 4 legs and galloped forward. In the blink of an eye, it had disappeared without a trace. Only a palm-sized flame was left on the surface of the sea, dragging along with the undulation of the waves. Du Feng snorted coldly. A flying sword hummed, and a cold green light flashed on the surface of the sea. Then, Du Feng disappeared. The golden space-piercing flash is indeed extraordinary, Chun Lian praised loudly. Then, a ball of red light ignited under his feet. With a flash of red light, only Chun Lian's teasing voice could be heard. "Junior Marshal Brother Liu, capable people do more work. The few of us will be going first." Zhong Jin and Ma Yu looked at each other. Zhong Jin turned to Lu Ping and chuckled. Holding Ma Yu's hand, the 2 of them replenished each other's transcendence energy. With a shake of the flying magic tool under their feet, they left Lu Ping behind. Twin Wings art. I can't believe the 2 of them actually mastered this spell. Lu Ping was speechless. Lung Qian didn't say a word. Suddenly, a pair of ice crystal wings extended from her back. In a flash, she chased after the crowd. Shi Lingling giggled. She took out a fiery red jade talisman and injected her transcendence energy into it. Lu Ping's eyes twitched. This senior martial sister was actually using a talisman to travel. The jade talisman glowed red, and Shi Lingling had already turned into a streak of light on the horizon. Lu Ping looked at the remaining people. Zhang Zicheng, Hu Lili, Niu Dazhuang, and Zheng Jia were only at the 5th layer of the blood condensation realm. Their speed was already slow, and they didn't have any good flying magic tools or spirit beasts. When Zhang Zicheng and the others saw that everyone had flying techniques, they could only helplessly laugh bitterly. They planned to fly as fast as they could. At this moment, a clear bird cry rang out. The sky above them darkened. A huge demonic bird had already appeared above them. Ignoring the shock that Lu Qin's appearance brought to everyone, Lu Ping hurriedly beckoned Zhang Zicheng, Zhang Jia, and Niu Dazhuang to get on Lu Qin's back. A dissatisfied chirp interrupted Lu Ping's call. The proud Blue Luan was unwilling to let anyone other than Lu Ping sit on its back. Lu Ping had no choice but to persuade it. "All right, this time. We must find you a few wind-fire condensed blood pearls in the demonic sea. They'll help you break through to the late stage of the blood condensation realm. What do you think?" Lu Qin lowered her head and looked at Lu Ping, as if she was weighing the sincerity of Lu Ping's promise. Seeing that her master, Lu Ping, was about to lose his temper, Lu Qin flapped her wings playfully and agreed to Lu Ping's deal. Once Niu Dazhuang, Zhang Jia, and Zhang Zicheng sat on Lu Qin's back, the Blue Luan let out a long chirp and flapped its wings. The surface of the sea immediately sank, and the Blue Luan flew forward at a speed faster than the other cultivators. Lu Ping gracefully made an inviting gesture. Hu Lili chuckled. Although there was a hint of redness on her delicate face, she still generously placed her jade-like wrist in Lu Ping's outstretched hand. Her wrist landed on Lu Ping's magic cloud pouch. Lu Ping waved his hand and kept Lu Dague's spirit beast pouch. The magic cloud pouch quickly rose into the clouds and disappeared without a trace. At the boundary of the buffer sea and the demonic sea, Jinling's group of 18 late-stage blood condensation cultivators hovered in the air, waiting for the other cultivators to catch up. I wonder which of those brats will catch up first. Those brats always flaunt their cultivation speed. Today, we'll teach them a lesson. Just because they cultivate fast doesn't mean they're strong. The key is whether their foundation is strong or not. If their foundation isn't strong, no matter how fast they cultivate, it'll all be for naught. That's right. Haha, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint all of you this time. Li Cheng of our 3rd Patrol Brigade has a large high-grade flying boat. If the other members of the 3rd Patrol Brigade work together to control it, I believe their speed won't be far from ours. Everyone turned to look at the person who spoke. It was the 3rd Patrol Team's Vice Captain, Li Ziming, who had already reached the 8th layer of the blood condensation realm. Master Immortal Zhang of the 3rd Patrol Team couldn't stand Li Ziming's smug expression. He sneered. A high-grade flying ship? That's nothing. I heard that my team's Yuan Zhan also has a high-grade puppet artifact. Who knows who will win? Lu Ziyuan ignored everyone's argument. He raised his head and looked at the distant sky. It's coming. The arguing Master Immortals turned to look at the distant sea. A faint black dot was already flying in their direction. Just when everyone was still guessing whether it was a flying boat or a puppet carriage, a clear and melodious bird cry rang out. Everyone was startled. The small black dot in the distance instantly enlarged, and a gust of wind blew. A huge demon bird had already flown over the heads of the cultivators. The gust of wind blew against their faces, causing everyone's clothes to flutter violently. Li Ziming's expression changed. He shouted, "Not good. A demonic beast is attacking." As he spoke, he threw out a rope-like magic tool. The rope danced in the air, and like a snake, it coiled around the wings of the demon bird. As long as the wings of the demon bird were bound, the demon bird could only wait to be slaughtered. The demonic bird looked huge, but it was extremely nimble in the air. As it flew, it tilted its body and immediately avoided the entanglement of the rope. At the same time, it stretched out its 2 huge claws and grabbed the 2 ends of the rope. Taking advantage of the situation, it tore the rope of the mid-grade magic tool into 2. Li Ziming cried out in distress. "Evil beast, how dare you? Fellow Taoists, this demonic bird is very troublesome. Quickly help me take it down." As soon as Li Ziming finished speaking, a high-grade magic tool appeared in his hand. Just as he was about to use it, he saw the cultivators talking and looking at the scenery. A few of the kind-hearted cultivators wanted to remind him of something, but in the end, they were too embarrassed to say anything. They just looked at him with a strange expression. Li Ziming finally felt that something was wrong. When he looked up, he saw that the demonic bird hadn't gone far. It was circling above everyone's heads and didn't continue to attack them. Li Ziming came to his senses. He spread out his divine sense and found a cultivator sitting on the demonic bird's back. It was a mount. Li Ziming suddenly felt a burning sensation on his face. Senior Marshal Brother Li is old enough and his cultivation is high enough. It is reasonable to say that he has enough experience and knowledge. How can you not even distinguish a spirit beast from a demonic beast? A white cloud slowly descended from the sky. A mocking voice came from the cloud. It was the same words that Li Ziming used to mock Lu Ping. If it wasn't Lu Ping, who else could it be? Chapter 151. Li Ziming's face alternated between green and red when he saw the young man and woman walking down from the cloud. Li Ziming had been guarding Huangli Island all these years. Even though his cultivation had reached the 8th layer of the blood condensation realm, he didn't have much combat experience with demonic beasts. Hence, when he saw the blue Luan, he didn't even use his divine sense to scan it before attacking. The words Lu Ping used to ridicule him were the same words Li Ziming used to ridicule Lu Ping. Now, Lu Ping had returned the same words to him. Lu Ping, and Hu Lili ignored Li Ziming's blushing face. After greeting Lu Ziyuan, Du Zixing, and Fang Ziyan, they stood behind them. At this time, Shi Lingling descended from the sky with a string of laughter. As soon as she landed, she asked Lu Ping nonchalantly, "Junior brother Lu Ping, where did you catch this big bird? It's so beautiful. I want to catch one to play with next time." It turned out that Lu Ping and the others had caught up to Shi Lingling, who had used up all of her talisman's power. When she saw Lu Ping's huge demonic beast, Shi Lingling naturally couldn't bear to use her talisman again. So, she hitched a ride with Lu Ping. The late blood condensation realm elders looked at Lu Ping in shock. Initially, they thought that the blue wand was a mount given to Shi Lingling by her elders. They didn't expect it to be this mid-blood condensation realm disciple's spirit beast. How was this possible? One had to know that the blue wand was very spiritual and had a strong demonic spiritual energy. Even the late blood condensation realm cultivators didn't have the confidence to capture it alive. Could it be that Lu Ping's strength was even stronger than a late blood condensation realm cultivator? Some of the cultivators had already heard of Lu Ping's dual identity as an alchemist and Lu Xuanling's direct disciple. Only then did they come to a realization. No wonder he has such a famous master. Lu Ping ignored the gazes of the immortals and casually responded to Shi Lingling. Hu Lili, who was beside him, knew that Lu Ping was low-key and didn't want to attract attention, so she pulled Shi Lingling over to Zhang Jia, who had just come down from the back of the Cyan Phoenix. Soon, the three women began to sing. Hu Lili was very understanding. Lu Ping looked at Hu Lili gratefully, as if their hearts were connected. Hu Lili also happened to look back at Lu Ping. The two of them smiled knowingly, understanding each other's thoughts from their gazes. A loud roar of magic power came from the horizon, and a huge flying ship came riding the wind and waves. On its side, a puppet carriage was traveling side by side with the flying ship. At this moment, a fired Qilin horse suddenly flashed out from behind the flying ship, and the rider on the horse shouted loudly. Who else could it be but Yao Yong? When they arrived in front of the Master Immortals, the cultivators all disembarked from their flying boats and carriages. They were arguing about which magic artifact had arrived first and how much of a lead they had along the way. "Junior brother Lu, when did you guys get ahead of us?" Yao Yong's surprised voice instantly drowned out the quarreling voices of the two patrol teams. Everyone's first reaction was that it was impossible. However, to their disappointment, the people standing behind the three leaders of the first patrol team were none other than Lu Ping and his group. "Hee, I have a spirit beast that's good at flying." Lu Ping ignored everyone's shocked gazes and casually explained. Lu Qin was already in Lu Ping's spirit beast pouch. Since someone had already gotten ahead of them, there was no point in arguing anymore. They could only return to their respective teams in boredom. Li Yu and the others secretly hated Lu Ping for stealing their limelight. Lu Ping naturally wouldn't care about them. However, a person who got off the puppet carriage caught Lu Ping's attention. This person came out of the carriage and only glanced at Lu Ping once. However, this one glance attracted Lu Ping's attention. This person's gaze didn't reveal any obvious jealousy, envy, or admiration like the others. Instead, it was as deep as a pool of still water, deeply hiding his intentions. Lu Ping's eyes lit up. Lu Ping knew this person. His name was Yuan Zhan. In the past, he was defeated by Lu Ping in the grand competition of the True Spirit Side Courtyard. I didn't expect him to also come to Huangli Island. Lu Ping looked at Yuan Zhan, who was in the 6th layer of the blood condensation realm, walking expressionlessly into the middle of the 3rd patrol team. He had a feeling that Yuan Zhan was hiding something when he looked at him, but he couldn't tell what it was. He could only suppress this thought in his heart. The cultivators who were chasing after them also arrived. Chen Lian, Du Feng, and the others were slightly behind Yao Yong and the others. This also allowed the cultivators to see the strength of the 1st patrol team once again. After everyone arrived, they were about to ask for instructions on their next move. However, they noticed that the immortals leading the teams were all looking in the direction of the demon territory. Just when everyone was puzzled, Lu Ziyuan chuckled and said, "This group of demons has a keen sense of smell. They discovered us so quickly. It's not in vain that we waited here for so long." The other cultivators nodded in agreement. Lu Ping spread out his divine sense and discovered that the demon territory was filled with demonic aura. Clearly, a large number of demon beasts were heading in their direction. Lu Ping didn't have time to think about what method the immortals used to attract so many demon beasts. Although Feng Zian paid close attention to it several times, he did not have the chance to make a move. Lu Ping pointed with both hands, and the soaring winged sword slashed 64 times in front of him. 6 early blood condensation realm demon beasts and 1 mid-blood condensation realm demon beast that were attacking Lu Ping were instantly stained with blood. Out of the 7 demon beasts, 3 died and 4 were injured. Suddenly, 2 seaweeds rushed out of the water and entangled the 2 injured demon beasts that were trying to retreat behind Lu Ping. The 2 demon beasts struggled fiercely, but they could not break free. At this time, a mid-grade flying sword silently flew over and pierced into one of the demon beasts. The 3rd layer blood condensation realm demon beast flipped over and landed on its belly. By the time the flying sword slashed at the other demon beast, the prawn had already broken free from Hu Lily's entanglement technique. However, it was too late. Zhang Zicheng's flying sword suddenly sped up and cut the escaping prawn demon in half. The wave of the sword is like water flowing into the sea, unstoppable. Lu Ping has comprehended the force realm to the point of perfection. One sword can split into 64 swords, which means he is very close to achieving 81 swords. Legend has it that the first stage of achieving the intent realm is sword refinement, and the minimum requirement for this stage is to split the sword into 81 swords. With this level of swordsmanship, he is only one step away from mastering the sword intent. Feng Zian looked at Lu Ping's swordsmanship in awe. No wonder everyone formed such a seemingly illogical ternary array. No wonder Senior Martial Brother Lu Ziyuan and Senior Martial Brother Lu Ziyuan advised him to ignore Lu Ping's swordsmanship. Lu Ping was simply too strong. Feng Zian believed that even if he were to fight against Lu Ping, he wouldn't be able to tell the outcome until they fought. The attack of the demon beasts only lasted for half an hour before it was defeated by the 6 patrol squads and 90 mid and late blood condensation realm cultivators. The cultivators clearly wanted to exterminate this wave of demon beasts, so the 6 patrol squads changed their formations. The first patrol squad changed from a small ternary formation to 3 smaller 5-elements formations that formed a triangular formation. Each 5-element formation was led by a cultivator. The other squads did the same. At the same time, the other 5 squads flanked the demon beasts from both sides. The first patrol squad was in the center of the encirclement, and the other 5 squads worked together to form a larger formation. At the same time, more than a dozen 8th and 9th layer blood condensation realm cultivators also joined the fray. Not a single demon beast survived the encirclement, and all of them were killed. When the battle ended, the victorious Xinling cultivator let out a shout and cheered. Everyone started dissecting the demon beast's corpses to retrieve the useful spiritual materials. After this wave of demon beasts dissected the spiritual materials, the cultivators earned several tens of thousands of spirit stones. Although each cultivator only received a few hundred spirit stones, this was their first time making a move, and they did not encounter much difficulty. Furthermore, there were many demon beasts in the demon race's territorial waters. Naturally, there was a bigger harvest waiting for them there. Chapter 152. A Level 8 Blood Condensation Demonic Beast, a great white shark, about 30 meters long, suddenly leaped out of the water. It opened its huge mouth, revealing its sharp teeth. It charged towards Lu Ping as if it wanted to swallow Lu Ping whole. Huangli Island's group arrived at the demon territory. After killing a wave of demonic beasts, the 6 patrol squads went their separate ways. Lu Ping's first patrol squad headed east. It was already the 7th day. During these 7 days, under Lu Ziyuan's leadership, the first patrol squad didn't hunt demonic beasts on a large scale. On the contrary, they avoided many demonic beast hordes until they discovered this group of shark demons. Sigh. Isn't it just killing a level 6 blood condensation realm shark demon? Is there a need to fight so desperately? Lu Ping thought angrily. Those three over there are much more ruthless than me. 3 level 7 blood condensation realm white sharks have already died in their hands. Why don't I fight them to the death? Demonic beasts are the typical type of people who bully the weak and fear the strong. Lu Ping couldn't care less about his own thoughts. Seeing that the great white shark was about to swallow him whole, Lu Ping had no choice but to release a dark cloud above his head. The great white shark didn't understand what was going on, but it still rammed into the cloud. However, it discovered that it was as if it had rammed into a ball of cotton. It lost track of the human cultivator who killed its son. There was no force around it, but it also felt as if there was a force around it. After the shark demon's huge impact was mitigated, the great white shark suddenly felt that its surroundings had become slippery again. The shark demon's huge body began to slide into the sea. In the dark clouds, a sword light flashed like a bolt of lightning, leaving a massive wound on the shark monster's body. With a loud putong sound, the great white shark that fell from the clouds created a massive splash. At the same time, a trail of bright red blood spread out along with the splash. A thick dark cloud was still floating above Lu Ping's head. Lu Ping looked at it with satisfaction. This was the top-grade defensive mystic instrument Lu Ping had obtained from the Blood Condensation Realm's cloudy sky. The shark demon, which had suffered a sneak attack from Lu Ping while falling, attacked Lu Ping again. Lu Ping's wound was bleeding, and the great white shark became even more violent. Lu Ping wanted to use landslide to smash this persistent shark into pieces. At the same time, he wanted to test the power of the top-grade landslide. However, in the past few days since entering the demon territory, Lu Ping's performance had been very eye-catching. Lu Ping couldn't bear to use another top-grade mystic instrument to destroy the fragile confidence of Yao Yong and the others. The shark demon's perseverance made it impossible for Lu Ping to kill it in a short period of time. At this moment, a jade plate was suddenly thrown into the sea below Lu Ping's feet. At the same time, 6 mid-grade spirit stones appeared around Lu Ping. The spirit stones exploded one by one, and the spirit energy they emitted suddenly formed an inexplicable connection with the jade plate below Lu Ping's feet. Lu Ping's divine sense suddenly became dazzled. At this moment, the great white shark pounced towards Lu Ping again. However, for some unknown reason, the direction of the great white shark's attack deviated slightly. As the great white shark pounced, its accompanying spells also struck the side of Lu Ping's body. It was as if the great white shark was hallucinating at this moment. Spell formation. Lu Ping's heart skipped a beat. He easily dodged Lu Ping's attack and stabbed the great white shark's body with the soaring wing sword, creating 12 bloody holes in the shark's body. Lu Ping turned his head and saw Hu Lily concentrating on controlling an array plate in her hand. This jade plate was connected to the array plate below Lu Ping's feet. At this moment, Hu Lily was already sweating profusely. It was obvious that using this kind of hastily set-up simple spell formation to control a late blood condensation great white shark was beyond Hu Lily's capabilities. Fortunately, the spell formation was only a support. The real combat power was still Lu Ping. The great white shark didn't notice that its attack missed. After being stabbed 12 bloody holes by Lu Ping, the excruciating pain caused the shark to swing its huge tail the moment it fell into the water, causing water to splash everywhere. Each water droplet contained a trace of demonic spiritual energy. Some of the water droplets whistled towards Lu Ping and Hu Lily's direction. Lu Ping waved his hands. The cloudy sky was like a flowing cloud, stacking up in front of Hu Lily. The water droplets shot into the cloudy sky like a river flowing into the sea, silent. Lu Ping brandished the soaring wing sword. With a series of ping ping pang pang sounds, all the water droplets were blocked by him. Lu Ping didn't even have time to retract the soaring wing sword. From the side, a low sound of something coming out of the water could be heard. The shark demon had already charged over with killing intent. Fortunately, Hu Lily was using all her strength to activate the spell formation. The great white shark's direction was wrong. Lu Ping activated the wave-treading technique to avoid it. At the same time, He retracted the soaring wing sword. Unexpectedly, after the great white shark missed its attack, it suddenly turned its body in mid-air. The fin on its back extended by more than a foot. Demonic spiritual energy circulated around the fin. Under the sunlight, it flashed with a biting cold light as it slashed towards Lu Ping. At this moment, Lu Ping didn't have time to retract the cloudy sky. The soaring wing sword and the two swords combined. Lu Ping used all his strength to execute the Great River Flow's East sword technique. He pushed his Fali to the extreme. 64 sword auras followed the soaring wing sword's trajectory and instantly hit the same spot at the root of the fin. Clang! Although the 64 sword auras came one after the other, they all hit the same spot in an instant. The sound of metal clashing mixed together, and only this sound was left. A 3-foot-long triangular fin was chopped off by Lu Ping, and Lu Ping was also sent flying more than 100 feet away by the great white shark's impact. The soaring wing swords wailed in pain as the two of them left a deep gash on the sword. Lu Ping stabilized his body with great difficulty. His chest was still stuffy. Fortunately, he had the protection of the high-grade inner armor, so Lu Ping wasn't seriously injured. The great white shark suffered heavy injuries. Its huge body that was leaping in the air could no longer maintain its balance. It miserably fell into the water, creating a huge splash. The North Sea wave listening technique was quickly activated. A steady stream of Fali accompanied his blood vessels to replenish Lu Ping's entire body. The great white shark, which had already been repeatedly toyed with by Lu Ping, had already gone mad. The great white shark that had 2 layers of teeth opened its mouth and spat. The outer layer of 108 saw teeth shot towards Lu Ping's direction. It was this move again. It seemed that demonic beasts often refined the sharp teeth in their mouths into magic tools. These magic tools refined from teeth were like flying needles. They were a huge threat to all kinds of protective magic techniques. The range of their attack was large and extremely difficult to dodge. Hu Lily's formation also lost its effectiveness. Moreover, these sharp teeth could also combine together to form an even higher grade magic tool. It was very troublesome. Lu Ping withdrew the cloudy sky to protect his body. At the same time, the soaring wing sword formed a sword wave around the cloudy sky. It knocked away the sharp-toothed magic tools as much as possible, delaying the time it took for them to form a higher-grade magic tool. Just as Lu Ping dodged the sharp teeth, the great white shark turned its body sideways and swept its huge tail towards Lu Ping. Lu Ping jumped to avoid the great white shark's attack. At the same time, the soaring wing sword left 2 3-feet-long wounds on the shark demon's body. The shark's tail swept through the air. However, its tail fin flashed with a luster. A glittering water blade flew out from it and slashed towards the other side. Not good, I was fooled. Lu Ping turned pale with fright. The direction in which the water blade flew towards was Hu Lily's position. What a cunning great white shark. In this kind of situation, it still did not lose its rationality. After the human cultivator dodged its attacks several times in a row, the shark demon finally felt that something was wrong. The biggest suspect was the human female cultivator hiding behind this human cultivator. At this time, because Lu Ping dodged the great white shark's attack, he had already fallen to the other side. It was already too late to rescue Hu Lily. In a moment of desperation, Lu Ping shot out a cyan ray of light from his hand. At this time, the great white shark also had no time to dodge. It could only take the attack head-on. Originally, the great white shark believed that although this human cultivator was powerful, under the protection of its own astral energy, the high-grade magic artifact in the human cultivator's hand would only be able to inflict a few more wounds on it. As long as it could kill the human female cultivator on the other side, it would have a chance to fight against this human cultivator. However, after the cyan sword light in Lu Ping's hand slashed out, the shark demon suddenly issued a terrified roar. Its magic power surged, and it tried its best to fall towards the surface of the sea. However, Lu Ping did not give it the opportunity. The cyan sword light flashed and disappeared. The astral energy on the surface of the great white shark's body did not have the slightest effect. Its tyrannical Yao body became extremely fragile and the great white shark was cut into two by Lu Ping. At this time, Lily, who had been hiding behind Lu Ping, was facing the biggest crisis since entering the demon race's sea area. The great white shark tried every possible way to divert Lu Ping away from the front in order to kill this human female cultivator who had been causing trouble for it. The spiritual power fluctuations contained in the water blade made Lily's complexion turn pale. Fortunately, she did not lose her reason. A mid-grade wooden shield was put in front of her. At the same time, her hand shot out two mid-grade crystal talismans that Lu Ping had given her. This water blade was the white shark's all-out attack. Naturally, its power was huge. The two crystal shields formed by the crystal talismans were instantly shattered by the water blade. The mid-grade wooden shield was also cut into pieces. Lily only had time to shoot out a wooden vine technique before she was cut by the water blade. Lu Ping's eyes were bloodshot. He flew towards Lily, who had been sent flying by the water blade, and held her in his arms. Then, he landed on the magic cloud. Lu Ping saw that Lily's pretty face was pale, and there was blood flowing from the corner of her mouth. He hurriedly checked her injuries. However, he found that only her internal organs had been shaken. Her injuries were not serious. Lu Ping did not have time to think clearly. Seeing that Lily was not seriously injured, he let out a long sigh of relief. He repeatedly said, "Fortunately, fortunately." However, he heard Lily giggle and say, "You forgot about the high-grade inner armor." Lu Ping suddenly realized what was going on. It was only then that he saw a big cut on Lily's clothes around her abdomen. The golden glow of her inner armor had dimmed a little, but it was still flowing with spiritual energy. On the surface of the sea, the cultivators of the 1st Patrol Squad had the upper hand in the battle against the sharks. However, it would still take some time for them to completely annihilate this group of monsters. Lu Ping did not allow Lily to interfere no matter what. He left behind the best healing pills and instructed her to recuperate on the magic cloud. Lu Ping dismounted from the magic cloud, but he was still worried. He decided to summon Yin Tian to surround the magic cloud, making it look like a dome made of clouds. The sharks had lost an 8th layer blood condensation realm leader, and Lu Ping was a new force. With the addition of 1/9 layer blood condensation realm and 2 8th layer blood condensation realm cultivators, the 1st Patrol Squad finally managed to kill all 12 sharks. Chapter 153. Harvests were always exciting moments. Among the 12 white sharks, 6 of them were at the late blood condensation realm. The shark demons had a lot of good stuff on them. For example, the shark demon's fangs were excellent spiritual materials for forging magic tools. Niu Dazhuang, who got 72 fangs, was already pestering Chen Lian to forge a high-grade magic tool, a mace. This guy was very interested in violent weapons. Shark demon's fins were not only good ingredients for cultivators, but Lu Ping also had a few pill recipes that used shark fins as ingredients. The shark monster's fins and tail were also extraordinary. At the very least, Lu Ping's soaring wing swords weren't able to gain the upper hand, especially the dorsal fin that Lu Ping had chopped off with all his might. Lu Ping had already kept it away. Haha, look at this. With Chen Lian's help, Zhongjian and Ma Yu killed a 7th level blood condensation realm shark demon. There were actually 7 condensed blood pearls in it. Zhongjian and Ma Yu were both at the peak of the 6th level blood condensation realm, only one step away from the late blood condensation realm. Although the condensed blood pearls didn't match their cultivation techniques, they could still exchange them for condensed blood pearls that they needed. After this hunting mission, the two of them would definitely break through to the late blood condensation realm. The group hid in the monster territory for several days until they discovered and eliminated the group of shark monsters. Naturally, Lu Ping and the others realized that Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 senior martial brothers were carrying a secret mission from the sect. Just like Lu Ziyuan, Zhongjian was also a disciple of perfected Master Guo Xianshan. Although he was only an in-name disciple, he had a good relationship with Lu Ziyuan, and Lu Ziyuan also took good care of this little junior brother. Zhongjian saw that everyone had finished collecting the spoils of war and Lu Ziyuan had instructed everyone to rest on a coral reef. So he came over and asked, 4th senior brother, We've been concealing our tracks these few days. Is it because of this group of shark demons? Everyone had their own questions. Hearing Zhong Jin's question, everyone who was recovering their arcane energy turned to look at him. Lu Ziyuan laughed. Everyone can see it, but you just can't hold it in. Zhong Jin smiled embarrassedly. Fang Ziyan, who was next to him, said with a smile, since the mission has been completed, it doesn't matter if I tell you. Do you still remember the battle that made Han Weiyun famous by Xinling sect as one of the 18 Northern Sea generals? When everyone heard Fang Ziyan mention Han Weiyun, they all laughed. Speaking of this Han Weiyun, after being besieged by the demonic beasts, Xinling sect praised him as a hero who turned the tide of the battle. Even though he was defeated, he still had a glorious image. Because of this, Xinling sect managed to become one of the North Sea's 18 generals. As a result, Xinling sect also occupied 2 seats in the 18 generals of the North Sea's 18 generals, keeping up with Xinling. Han Weiyun did not disappoint them. He performed outstandingly in the following few expeditions to hunt demon beasts. However, not long after, the Fury Ocean clan of the Overflowing Seas gang spread the news that Han Weiyun was able to escape from the demon soldiers' encirclement because, in order to escape, he had thrown down the dozens of rogue cultivators who had followed him as bait, attracting the attention of the demon soldiers. On the contrary, Ai Buatao of West Hill Island did not abandon the rogue cultivators who had followed him. The title of North Sea's 18 generals was well-deserved. When the news spread, the North Sea's cultivation world was in an uproar. Many cultivators did not believe the Overflowing Seas gang's words due to its bad reputation. Moreover, Xinling sect was the leader of the North Sea's cultivation world. Why would they support such a disciple? However, the Overflowing Seas gang swore that it was true. Moreover, there was another person involved, Ai Buatao of West Hill Island, who was also one of the 18 generals of the North Sea. Of course, Ai Buatao knew the truth. When Xinling sect promoted Han Weiyun to the sect leader position, they had also kindly reminded the Ai family. In return, when Xinling sect promoted Han Weiyun, they also praised Ai Buatao, causing Ai Buatao's reputation to rise to another level in the North Sea. Correspondingly, the Ai family in West Hill Island also benefited a lot. After Han Weiyun's plot was exposed, Ai Buatao could only choose to remain silent in the face of many cultivators' questions. This was because many of the rogue cultivators who had followed him out of the encirclement had followed him. Firstly, they were grateful to him for saving their lives. Secondly, Xinling sect had already started to promote Han Weiyun. Because the rogue cultivators knew the truth, they were afraid that they would be killed by Xinling sect, so they could only seek protection from the Ai family. If Ai Buatao denied the news about the Overflowing Seas gang, the cultivators who followed him would definitely be bitterly disappointed. They might even choose to leave because they were afraid that the Ai family would compromise with Xinling sect. More importantly, the Overflowing Seas gang chose to reveal the truth a year after the incident. In this year, as Ai Buatao's reputation rose, more and more cultivators followed him. As one of the achievements that made him famous, almost all of the cultivators who followed him knew the truth. Ai Buatao wanted to win people's hearts, so this matter could not be denied. Ai Buatao's silence was equivalent to tacitly agreeing that Han Weiyun abandoned the North Sea rogue cultivators to escape. Naturally, Han Weiyun faced the criticism of the North Sea cultivators. Of course, there was also the possibility that Xinling and the other sects were adding fuel to the fire. Xinling sect's reputation in the North Sea suffered another blow. The West Tomb Islands Ai family's relationship with Xinling sect plummeted. Xinling sect kept making things difficult for Ai Buatao. Ai Buatao's days were not good, but he won the sincere support of the cultivators who followed him. After that, there was news that after Han Weiyun became one of the North Sea's 18 generals, he went out to sea several times to hunt demonic beasts. Among the cultivators who accompanied him, there were a few Xinling 9th layer blood condensation realm experts. More than half of Han Weiyun's battle achievements were thanks to these experts. The Overflowing Seas gang stirred up the North Sea into an uproar, but they themselves disappeared without a trace. Fang Xian brought up Han Weiyun's matter because ever since the demon soldiers set up an ambush for human cultivators in the monster territory outside Autumn Cloud Island, the demonic beasts in that area became rampant. They killed human cultivators in a frenzy and collected their blood as food. No cultivators near Autumn Cloud Island dared to go out to sea from there. Recently, the demonic cultivators in that area began to spread to the various powers' territories in the North Sea. They formed a large group of demonic beasts and planned a large-scale attack on the cultivators who ventured deep into the monster territory. Many half-transformed demonic cultivators kept clamoring to collect human blood as food. Jinling had his own sources of information and discovered that there was a mastermind behind the demonic beast rampage. These demonic beasts hunted cultivators on a large scale in the North Sea and collected blood as food. At the same time, they also made contact with many enlightened demonic cultivators. This time, the group of shark demons that Jinling ambushed was a group that had received orders to contact the enlightened demonic cultivators. After understanding the cause and effect of the matter, Lu Ping and the rest began to focus on recovering their arcane energy. Hu Lily's injuries were not serious. Moreover, she had the essence-augmenting pill that Lu Ping gave her. Moreover, she was only assisting Lu Ping during the ambush, so she did not expend much arcane energy. Hence, Hu Lily was in charge of keeping watch. Half a day later, not only did Lu Ping recover his arcane energy, he also cultivated for a while. Satisfied, he stopped the circulation of the North Sea wave listening technique. Recently, in the process of hunting demonic beasts, Lu Ping discovered that every battle stimulated his potential, and his arcane energy would improve. After opening his eyes, Lu Ping was instantly startled. In front of him, a dozen pairs of eyes were staring at him with intense envy, jealousy, and hatred. Even the usually steady elder immortal Lu Ziyuan was no exception. Lu Ping turned to look at Hu Lily, only to see her playfully sticking out her tongue and making a funny face. Hu Lily had always displayed her mature and graceful side in front of Lu Ping. This time, Lu Ping was mesmerized by her rare girlish demeanor. Zhongjian pretended to cough twice and waved his hand in front of Lu Ping's eyes. Ahem, Junior Martial Brother Lu? Come back to your senses. Come back to your senses. Lu Ping calmly turned his head and looked at Zhongjian. Surprisingly, there wasn't the slightest trace of embarrassment on his face. Instead, it scared Zhongjian. He quickly said, Junior Martial Brother Lu, Senior Martial Sister Hu Lily is right there. You don't have to look at me like that. Lu Ping helplessly looked at Ma Yu, who was beside him. Ma Yu smiled and said, All right, don't make fun of Junior Martial Brother Lu. Then, he turned to Lu Ping and asked, Junior Martial Brother Lu, your cultivation is too extravagant. I know that Junior Martial Brother Lu is rich, but can you bear to cultivate like this? It turned out that after everyone began their recovery cultivation, Lu Ping first placed a white praying mat under his body. The praying mat was engraved with complicated spirit arrays. Obviously, it was a high-grade spirit-gathering praying mat. Then, Lu Ping put a water-attributed blood spirit pill in his mouth. Then, he held a mid-grade spirit stone in each hand and began to cultivate. After Lu Ping started to circulate his spiritual power, an ancient jade pendant hanging on Lu Ping's waist suddenly emitted a purple light. A purple cloud spread out and surrounded Lu Ping. While absorbing the surrounding spiritual qi, there was also a calming aura surging around, allowing cultivators to enter the state of cultivation faster and increase the effect of cultivation. Compared to Lu Ping's extravagant cultivation method, the members of the first patrol team only swallowed a pill, some used a mid-grade spirit stone, and some only used a handful of low-grade spirit stones. Even Lu Ziyuan, Du Zixing, and the others only swallowed a pill and used 2 mid-grade spirit stones. At the same time, everyone also discovered that Lu Ping's extravagant cultivation method took longer than everyone else's. This meant that Lu Ping's spiritual power was more profound than everyone else's. This was the only reason why Lu Ping needed so much time to recover. After coming to this conclusion, everyone was once again speechless at Lu Ping's strength. No wonder he was able to stay in the Monster Sea region for 5 years. No wonder he was respected by Master Jiang and Master Lu. and was even accepted as a personal disciple by Master Lu Xinling when he was still in the mid-blood condensation realm. No wonder he was able to fight against an 8th-layer blood condensation realm demonic beast. Lu Ping felt awkward being stared at by everyone. At the same time, he was secretly wary of being too ostentatious. Fortunately, the first patrol team was on their own now. Everyone, including Master Immortal Lu, was on good terms with him. Yao Yong, Zhongjian, and the others were his good friends. If he cultivated like this in front of others, he might attract unwanted attention. Seeing Lu Ping's uneasiness, Lu Ziyuan took out a jade slip and said, "This is the reward we obtained from the 9th-layer blood condensation realm shark demon. Demonic beasts rarely use jade slips to transmit information. Most of them use jade slips after they transform into enlightened beings. It seems like we have gained a lot from this operation." Everyone hurried Lu Ziyuan to check the contents of the jade slip. Lu Ziyuan released his divine sense and tore the seal on the jade slip. Suddenly, he shouted, "Not good." A ball of light suddenly shot out from the jade slip and flew towards the east. Lu Ziyuan, Du Ziyuan, and Fangqiu couldn't stop it in time. Lu Ziyuan looked at the jade slip in his hand and said hurriedly, "This is a jade slip that was engraved with divine sense. On the outside, it was engraved with a sealing array formation to disguise it. Once the array formation is broken with divine sense, the warning array formation will be activated. The ball of light just now is a warning array formation to the nearby enlightened beings. We need to leave quickly. If we are too late, the enlightened beings will catch up to us." Chapter 154. A blood condensation cultivator's divine sense couldn't detect a jade slip inscribed by a core forging enlightened master. Lu Ziyuan failed to detect the jade slip and instead triggered the warning talisman sealed in the jade slip. Lu, Du, and Fang quickly called for everyone to leave. If they were too late, they might encounter a core forging enlightened master. The cultivators ran south in panic, but they were too late. In just half an hour, a deep roar came from the sea. The roar got closer and more frequent. The roar was like a command. While the group was escaping, monster beasts jumped out of the sea to block their way. Even though these demonic beasts were only in the blood refining realm or early blood condensation realm and were easily killed by the group, they still managed to slow down the group's speed. Finally, after Lu Ziyuan killed a mid-stage blood condensation realm crab, a green-clothed cultivator appeared on the sea behind them. 8 azure tentacles danced behind Brother Tsing Yi as if he was taking a stroll in the park. He only took one step, but the distance between him and the group was shortened by a large margin. Lu Ziyuan's pupil shrank. He looked at the blue tentacles behind Brother Tsing Yi and said coldly, "Divine sense manifestation. He really is a core forging enlightened master." Seeing that Brother Tsing Yi was about to catch up to them, Lu Ziyuan shouted, "Formation!" At the same time, he took out a sound-transmitting magic sword from his storage bag, whispered a few words, and threw it out. The magic sword flashed in the air. It was obviously a core forging enlightened master's weapon. Brother Tsing Yi didn't stop it. Instead, he walked to the front of the formation and asked, "Did you kill the Golden Jiao Island's messenger?" A huge aura pressed down on the group. Everyone's breathing stagnated. Lu Ping had faced the aura of a mid-stage core forging enlightened master, Xianjing. He was much stronger than Brother Tsing Yi, so he didn't mind. Lu Ziyuan said solemnly, "Junior and the others have indeed killed several shark monsters." Brother Tsing Yi said, "Then the jade slip that Golden Flood Dragon Island Master gave me is also with you?" Lu Ziyuan knew these things and couldn't deny it, so he said, "Yes." When Brother Tsing Yi saw Lu Ziyuan's straightforward answer, he chuckled and said, "You do have some guts. Now, I'll give you 2 options. One is to return the jade slip to me. If I'm happy, I might take you as my servants and let you live. The second option is to use this formation to exchange blows with me. You just sent out a sound-transmitting magic sword, so you should be asking for help. Let's see if you can persevere under my attack until help arrives." Lu Ziyuan didn't even think about it and said, "This junior chooses the second option." Brother Tsing Yi was still smiling. "I knew you wouldn't shed a tear until you see the coffin." He had only just said that when the cyan-robed cultivator casually waved his hand, and the 8 blue tentacles waving about behind him abruptly merged into one. The merged tentacle suddenly elongated, and it smashed towards the cultivators within the magic array. Lu Ziyuan controlled the formation, and the arcane energy of the 15 people converged under the effect of the 3 elements 5 elements formation. Lu Ziyuan's 9th layer blood condensation realm cultivation rose steadily, and his aura grew stronger and stronger. When he saw the blue tentacle coming towards him, he used his top-grade mountain-splitting axe and chopped at 5 different parts of the blue tentacle. His aura was no less powerful than Brother Tsingyi's. The cyan-clothed cultivator let out a cry of surprise. Clearly, the power of this magic array had exceeded his expectations. However, the cyan-clothed cultivator did not mind. His blue tentacle nimbly shook off the mountain-splitting axe's attack and swept towards Hu Lili, who was inside the magic array. Clearly, the cyan-clothed cultivator had discovered that the injured Hu Lili was the weakest link of the magic array. The formation quickly changed. Lu Ziyuan pointed at the seawater, and a stream of seawater turned into a water snake that coiled around the blue tentacle. The blue tentacle fiercely shook, shattering the water snake into a rain of water. However, the blue tentacle was blocked, and Lu Ziyuan had already directed the array formation to move away from the blue tentacle's attack range. The blue tentacle's attack missed. "Oh," the green-robed cultivator said, "so it's the Zhenling sect's Dao soldier formation, the 3 elements 5 elements formation? This is interesting. If you hand over that jade slip to me, I'll let you go. How about it?" Brother Tsingyi was clearly afraid of Zhenling's power, so he took a step back. Lu Ziyuan said resolutely, "Please forgive me, senior. This is impossible." Brother Tsingyi's expression changed. "You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Do you really think I can't do anything to you, Zhenling's formation?" Brother Tsingyi was angry, and the 8 blue tentacles behind him were immediately wrapped in a layer of grayish-white. The 8 tentacles suddenly lost their previous power as they waved. Lu Ziyuan said with a dignified expression, "It's actually the one with the tool and will. It seems that this Yao cultivator has not condensed a magic weapon. However, the power of the one with the tool and will is not inferior to the power of a magic weapon." As soon as Lu Ziyuan's voice fell, the 8 tentacles danced chaotically and smashed toward the 3 elements 5 elements formation from different directions. Lu Ziyuan chopped horizontally with his mountain-splitting axe and blocked 2 tentacles in a row. The grayish-white tentacles were weak, and although the power of the mountain-splitting axe was huge, the tentacles were not damaged at all. Lu Ziyuan was shocked. Each tentacle was a top-grade magic weapon, and the 8 tentacles were 8 top-grade magic weapons. Under the unity of the green-robed immortal's divine thoughts, the power was equivalent to 8 magic weapons. Lu Ziyuan hurriedly turned his head to look at the others. Du and Fong worked together to block 2 tentacles, but they were shocked by the strange power of the tentacles, and the mana in their bodies was tumbling, and they almost lost control. Yao Yong, Du Feng, and the others worked together to block 3 of the remaining 5 tentacles, but each of them was bleeding from the corner of their mouth. Obviously, they had suffered internal injuries. However, they did not leave their positions, so their injuries were obviously not serious. Lu Ping's soaring wing swords danced in the air, and a strong arcane energy surged into his body. Lu Ping knew this was the power of the array formation. It allowed everyone in the array formation to temporarily borrow the arcane energy of others to block attacks from outside the array formation. The soaring wing swords were like 2 fluttering butterflies, flying around one of the tentacles that was coming for Hu Lili. The sword lights shuttled back and forth like fluttering snowflakes, flickering with a sparkling luster as they stuck to the tentacle. The tentacle was abnormally agile. Every time the soaring wing sword came into contact with it, it would be bounced back. However, after over 100 sword beams slashed at the tentacle finally deviated from its target and swept away nothing. Just as Lu Ping repelled a tentacle, he heard a few screams behind him. Lu Ping's heart skipped a beat, and when he turned his head to look, he saw Niu Dazhuang, Zhang Jie, Zhang Zicheng, and Hu Lili working together to resist the last tentacle, but they were whipped away by the cyan-robed man. Niu Dazhuang and Zhang Zicheng were the first to bear the brunt of the attack. Their mouths were full of blood in the air, and the two magic artifacts they used to resist were also shattered. Zhang Jie and Hu Lili were slightly better off. Only their magic artifacts were broken, and Hu Lili was protected by her inner armor, so her injuries were the lightest. Just as the four of them were about to be caught by the waving tentacle, suddenly, 8 tentacles made of seawater rose from the surface of the sea. These 8 tentacles wrapped around the incoming tentacle, and in an instant, the 8 pillars of water were broken. However, it was at this moment that Niu Dazhuang and the others were rescued by Lu Ziyuan and the others. With the crystal bowl in hand, Lu Ping quickly met up with Lu Ziyuan and the others. The Tri-Element's 5 elements formation had been broken, and Niu Dazhuang and the others were seriously injured. Lu Ping could only form a broken formation with Lu Ziyuan and the others. Lu Ping used the top-grade crystal bowl that he had obtained from Yuan Shikong of the Overflowing Oceans sect to launch a surprise attack from the side, but he could only entangle one tentacle for a moment. The green-clothed Taoist master saw that Lu Ping and the others were still stubbornly standing in formation. He sneered disdainfully, "Ignorant fools!" The 8 tentacles behind him attacked from different directions. This time, he used his full strength. Just as everyone was preparing to fight to the death, a sudden clap of thunder sounded in the sky. The 8 waving ash-gray tentacles were struck by lightning falling from the sky and began to tremble as if they were convulsing. The green-clothed Taoist cried out in alarm and retreated one after another. The surface of the 8 ash-gray tentacles flashed with blue light, and the spasming tentacles immediately recovered. They danced in front of the green-clothed Taoist, protecting him. Lu Ping and the others were planning to fight to the death, but who knew that after a burst of lightning, a 3-foot-long peachwood sword would appear in front of everyone. The sword's tip flickered with lightning, and it pointed at the green-clothed Taoist from afar. "Who is it?" the green-clothed Taoist asked in a stern voice. "Humph!" A cold snort sounded, and a streak of light flashed in front of everyone. A Jinling cultivator in his 30s had already appeared in front of everyone. The peachwood sword let out a light hum, and it spun happily above the newcomer's head. Lu Ping and the others were overjoyed. The newcomer was Taoist Yang Xuanmu, whom they had met on Huangli Island. "I am Yang Xuanmu, a cultivator of the Jinling Profound Wood Mansion. You must be the North Sea Demon cultivator, Taoist Zhang Bao? You actually dared to attack a blood condensation cultivator? It seems that you are disregarding our agreement." Taoist Yang Xuanmu coldly said. "What a joke." The green-clothed Taoist said sternly. "Killing a few blood condensation minor repairs is nothing. If you want to stop me today, I will kill you as well." With that said, the 8 tentacles behind the green-clothed Taoist swept towards Taoist Yang Xuanmu. The 8 tentacles moved in an orderly manner, as if forming a formation, surrounding Taoist Yang Xuanmu in the middle of the 8 tentacles. 2 majestic auras soared into the sky, scaring away the clouds in the sky. Lu Ziyuan shouted, "Retreat!" Lu Ping pulled Hu Lili to his side. The other injured cultivators were also supported by Yao Yong and the others, and they quickly distanced themselves from the area where the 2 Taoists were fighting. Just as everyone retreated 100 zhang away, a deafening roar of magic came from behind them. The aftershock of the battle spread out, and the coral island that everyone had just rested on completely collapsed into the sea. The seawater was pushed by a powerful force, forming huge waves that were tens of zhang high, chasing after everyone like a tsunami. Lu Ping and the others retreated a distance of 5 li before they were able to avoid the area where the 2 Taoists were fighting. At this time, there were no traces of the 2 Taoists on the surface of the sea. Only 8 huge tentacles could be seen waving in the sky like whips. At the same time, a ball of lightning kept flashing in the middle of the tentacles. Chapter 155. This was Lu Ping's first time fighting with a core forging enlightened master. It was also the first time he saw a battle between core forging enlightened masters. The shock brought by the enlightened masters made Lu Ping realize the insurmountable gap between the blood condensation realm and the core forging realm. The battle between the two enlightened masters didn't last for too long. The lightning ball representing Yang Xianmu suddenly exploded, and blue lightning flashed in all directions. The 8 tentacles were hit once again, and a magnificent sword light pierced through the cage formed by the tentacles. The surface of the sword light flickered with electric sparks, and the cage was completely broken. A mournful howl resounded, and the 8 heavily wounded tentacles swung backward in unison. A green shadow flashed in the sky and disappeared, only leaving behind an unwilling roar. Yang Xuanmu, I was defeated by you today because I haven't condensed my natal magic treasure yet. When we meet again in the future, I will definitely take revenge for this enmity. A clear voice was heard. Take care, enlightened Master Zhang. I will be waiting for you. The aftermath of the battle dissipated, and enlightened Master Yang arrived on the sea. Lu Ping followed Lu Ziyuan and the others to greet him. After listening to Lu Ziyuan's narration, enlightened Master Yang took the jade slip in his hand and scanned it with his divine sense. Everyone saw enlightened Master Yang's solemn expression and didn't dare to speak. After a while, enlightened Master Yang put away the jade slip and turned to look at Lu Ping strangely, which made Lu Ping feel puzzled. Enlightened Master Yang smiled at Lu Ziyuan and said, "It seems like it's just as our sect expected. The demon beasts in the demon territory have been behaving strangely recently. It's really Golden Jiao Islands doing behind the scenes. I already know about this. Our sect's original plan remains unchanged. Continue to hunt in the demon territory and move south at the same time. You must reach the demon territory outside Autumn Cloud Island before July. The sect will inform you of the next step of your mission." Lu Ziyuan, Du Zixing, and Fang Ziyan nodded in agreement. Obviously, they already knew about this. After enlightened Master Yang instructed the 3, he turned to look at Lu Ping with a strange expression and asked, "You're Lu Ping? The mid-stage blood condensation realm alchemy grandmaster under Martial Uncle Lu, Lu Zipping?" Lu Ping did not understand and could only answer, "This junior is Lu Zipping." Taoist Master Yang chuckled and said, "Did you kill the 4th son of the island master of Golden Flood Dragon Island?" Lu Ping's heart skipped a beat. He recalled the 7th layer blood condensation realm primordial crocodile he killed. The other 3 primordial crocodiles called it Old 4. Could this crocodile be the 4th son of the Golden Jiao Dragon Island Lord? Lu Ping didn't know if it was a blessing or a curse, but from Taoist Yang's tone, this Golden Flood Dragon Island was obviously the location of a tyrannical force. To him, it was definitely not a good thing. Lu Ping hesitated for a moment before replying. Junior killed a 7th layer blood condensation realm primordial crocodile about a year ago. Hiss. Before Lu Ping could finish his words, Yao Yong and the others had already sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Lu Ziyuan and the others had looks of disbelief on their faces. Over a year ago? This brat is only at the 5th layer of the blood condensation realm. He actually killed a 7th layer blood condensation realm primordial crocodile? One had to know that the primordial crocodile enjoyed the same status as the green sea snake in the monster race. A 7th layer blood condensation realm primordial crocodile was considered invincible among its peers. Even 8th layer blood condensation realm cultivators were no match for it. Yet, Lu Ping killed it in a one-on-one fight. Lu Ping didn't know how to react to everyone's strange gazes. Fortunately, Taoist Master Yang Xuanmu laughed and said, "It's really you," as expected of Martial Uncle Lu's disciple. Immediately after, Yang Xuanmu's smile disappeared. He patted Lu Ping's shoulder and said, "Junior brother, you're in trouble." After saying that, he crushed the jade slip he obtained from the shark demon. The jade slip shattered and formed a water screen in midair. On the water screen was a portrait of a person. The portrait was extremely lifelike. Who else could it be but Lu Ping? Taoist Master Yang Xuanmu said in a serious tone, "Junior brother Lu, the Golden Jiao Island's lord has a lot of influence in the North Sea monster race. You killed his youngest son, so this portrait is your wanted poster. You'll be rewarded with an artifact. Junior brother, you'll have to face the endless pursuit of monster beasts." Lu Ziyuan saw that Lu Ping was at a loss, So he quickly asked, Senior Brother Yang, what do you think we should do? Taoist Master Yang pondered for a moment and said, Junior Brother Lu, it's best for you to return to Huangli Island first. After all, if you're exposed, not only will you attract the monster cultivator's pursuit, I'm afraid it will also disrupt the hunting plans of our sect and the North Sea sections. Du Zixing had some friendship with Lu Ping. Years ago, Lu Ping had risked his life to help him stop the cultivator sharing union's leader, Zhang Jihe, when he was only in the blood refining realm, allowing him to make a contribution to the sect. Now that he heard that Lu Ping was wanted by the monster cultivators, he also voiced out his concerns. Taoist Master Yang, we've already been in the monster race's sea for several days. If we let Junior Brother Lu return now, he'll inevitably encounter monster beasts. I'm afraid the wanted poster has already spread among the monster beasts. If he runs into a monster cultivator who knows about this, wouldn't Junior Brother Lu be a sheep walking into a tiger's den? Taoist Master Yang thought for a moment and said, Fine, here's a small item. Junior Brother, take it and wear it on your face. It can change your appearance. As long as no monster cultivator uses their divine sense to examine it carefully, it should be able to conceal your appearance. Lu Ping took a mask made of unknown materials and stuck it on his face. Suddenly, he turned into a red-faced man in his 40s. His facial expressions could be expressed according to Lu Ping's will. It was truly a marvelous skill. However, this mask could not conceal the divine sense. If others used their divine sense to observe carefully, they could easily discover Lu Ping's true appearance. Yao Yong was anxious. Seeing that Lu Ping had concealed his appearance, he said happily, If that's the case, doesn't that mean Junior Brother Lu can continue to carry out the hunting mission with us? In the past few days, everyone had a rough understanding of Lu Ping's strength. If Lu Ping could continue to stay with the team, he would indeed be a great help. Chen Lian and the others were also delighted. No, Taoist Master Yang and Lu Ziyuan said almost at the same time. Yao Yong was shocked by the harsh tone of the two, but he still murmured, Why not? Seeing that Yao Yong was puzzled, Lu Ping quickly explained, Senior Brother, Taoist Master Yang's mask can't conceal the divine sense. What's more, there are some strange magical secret techniques among the monster beasts that can easily see through this disguise. Senior Brother and the others still have to continue the mission in the Demon Race's Sea region. The Demon Race's Sea region is full of danger. We must not take risks. In the sky above the vast and boundless sea, a white cloud seemed to be drifting with the sea breeze. This white cloud constantly changed its shape, but it circled around the nearby sea area. Then, a red-faced man stood on the cloud and slowly descended. Fortunately, there are no major changes in this sea region. The red-faced man casually made a water-repelling technique and came to the bottom of a coral reef. There was a cave here. It seemed that no monster had lived here for a long time. The red-faced man reached out and wiped his face. A mask as thin as a cicada's wing fell into his hand. The red-faced man had turned into Lu Ping. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.